radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening. Fade to Black. Bespoke Radio for the masses. Yeah, man. How you doing? It's Monday, February 4th, 2019. 35 days into the new year, just 330 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in the middle of beautiful downtown Burbank, California. And I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the planet. I am your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? It's Monday. Starting off a brand new week. And doing it in style because tonight, An0maly is here. That's right. We're going to talk about his recent 3-day Facebook jail stint. Ask him how the food was. Talk about the media, censorship, manipulating the masses. Also want to find out what he knows about the arrest of 21 Savage out there in Atlanta. Yeah, right before the Super Bowl. So there you go. Did you see the Super Bowl yesterday? I actually sat through that whole thing. Yep. And if you're a Patriots fan, you'll take it any way you can get it. And I understand that. 6 rings for Brady. I understand all of that, too, as well. But, okay, so then you had the game, or the lack of the game. So you had, it's a defensive, it was defensive. Yeah, whatever. Game sucked. But it doesn't matter to me who wins. I just want a great game, And well, I live in Los Angeles, so it would have been nice to have a Super Bowl a parade here in this town. I've never experienced anything like that. But putting all of that aside, what do you think about those commercials? I want to talk to An0maly about that tonight. I was talking to him a couple of nights ago before the Super Bowl. And he's like, dude, don't bother me tomorrow during the Super Bowl. Right? I was like, okay, I'll talk to you on Monday. So I want to hear his comments about what went down with those commercials. I know you saw the same thing I did. Very interesting day yesterday with the Super Bowl. Congratulations to the Patriots for winning a very lackluster game. Okay, all right. So tonight's An0maly. Tomorrow night, right here, UFO researcher Michael Schratt will be here. He and I had a meeting over the weekend. I posted it up on Twitter, and he took me through a bunch of UFO cases, and the majority of which I knew nothing about. And I'm holding the top secret files in my hands. You saw the binder, his binder on the table there. Yeah, that binder is all that you think it is too, as well. But anyway. So what were some of those cases? We're going to be going over all of that tomorrow night. Wednesday, an extremely special surprise guest. And we will announce that on Wednesday. Don't be disappointed. Oh, man, Jimmy, you can't do that. Yes, I can. And I just did. And that will be Wednesday. Thursday is another Fader night. Open lines all night long. Friday, I'm off. Saturday and Sunday, I'm over at Coast to Coast AM for the weekend. So there's our week. And in case you're wondering, yes, it is still raining. It has rained now for, I think, 7 straight days, which seems, it's actually longer than that. But I think we got a day of sunshine in there somewhere. It's been raining for 2 or 3 weeks here in Southern California. It makes me wonder what's going to happen with the summers here, in that everything is going to be growing, right? Think about all those seeds and all that growth in the ground that's been activated. It is still pouring right now. I drove the other day on the freeway. Freeways closed down, mudslides. I'm not joking. Driving around in that thunderstorm, and for me too, here in Southern California, it was like, I don't know, driving through a war zone. Car accidents everywhere, fallen trees, this, that, garbage, debris all over the place, rocks, mud, water, flooding, intersections. It was crazy. It was absolutely nuts. And I got home like 3 hours later. I was like, Rita's like, what's wrong? Oh, you don't even know what I just drove through. I went like 6 blocks. It was crazy. Absolutely nuts going on. And it's still raining, and they are saying it's going to be like this through the end of the day tomorrow, possibly even going into Wednesday. Yeah, absolutely crazy. All right, so there's our week. That is what is going on here. And maybe if you guys are lucky, maybe later on tonight, An0maly will take some of your phone calls. What do you think about that? You want to take some phone calls with An0maly? All right. All right, let's get to all of this breaking news. Oh, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio, right? That's easy, at JChurchRadio, Facebook, YouTube, on Stellar. Everything is Jimmy Church, Fade to Black. You can go and follow, like, and subscribe right now over on our website. The hashtag is F2B on Twitter. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox. Any questions or comments during the show tonight is hashtag F2BQ. You can also email. Yeah, I still use it. Email Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. Let's get to the breaking news. Today, I posted it up. Modern Masters and UniWiki and author An0maly. Okay, I want to thank all of you, but especially An0maly for what he authored for UniWiki. The links are up. I'm going to retweet this now. Thank you for that, Rita. He put together a UniWiki on Fade to Black. Every show, every guest, notes, comments, everything that was available going back to show number 1. And the one thing that surprised me as I went through the list, first off, the amount of work and dedication put together to do 1,000 shows is insane to me. And to do it as he did and presented it there, I want to thank you. Took me by surprise. I had no idea that was being done, and that was posted by me today. So I want everybody to go and checking. Why is everybody misspelling An0maly? Because you can't spell, Dick. Dick, you're a couple generations behind. It's a 0, not an O. That's how you spell his name, An0maly. All right, is that, so I'm going through, looking at all of the work and then how many missing shows there were. And I have no idea. So because of that, I've got to go back and try to, I don't have to, but I'm going to try to find the missing shows. I'll go through my show notes and audio files and see what is up with that, because I've got everything archived. I think Rita and I, when we put everything together, we only found like 1 or 2 missing shows that are gone. Those are forever gone to the ether, in that it's a live show. There were problems with the files. We weren't recording, and they were being recorded off-site, and for whatever reason, we didn't get the shows recorded. And that's it. So there are some shows, we thought it was only one, maybe two, maybe three out of 1,000 that were missing forever. Looking at the list today in UniWiki, there's quite a few. So I'm going to see what I can do about completing the historical documents. Okay? All right, but again, thank you so much, Elmer, and of course, John Lunn and Dana over at Modern Masters for putting all of that together. Absolutely stunning and amazing. I've just put it up. Rita just tweeted it, and there it is. And to see it compiled all in one place, it's more than overwhelming. Great job. Thank you so much. All right, other breaking news today. Russian investigators. Now, check this out. It's about the biggest news of the year. Russian investigators are set to re-examine the mystery of a deadly hiking trip made by a group of Soviet students back in 1959. And, of course, I'm talking about the Dyatlov Pass incident because the case was shelved and then classified. Investigators are officially reopening the probe. Spokesperson for the Prosecutor General's office, Alexander Kurinoy, announced this past Friday. That's a big deal. And today I got tons of Russian news. You ready for more? Check this out. Poseidon, Russia's brand new underwater drone, will be able to travel at a speed of up to 125 miles per hour and dive as deep as a kilometer under the ocean to pierce all enemy defenses. The unmanned underwater vehicle could penetrate any submarine warfare countermeasures and other enemy defense systems due to a fully autonomous control system. Check this out. Rumor has it, it uses a solid fuel rocket motor. That's right, which they have been developing since 1977. 125 miles per hour underneath the water. That is crazy. Now, if they're doing it, what do we have? Are they trying to keep up to the USOs? Right? But that's insane. Solid fuel rocket motor propelled torpedo. 125 miles per hour under the water. Kilometer deep. 500 feet. Wow. Oh, man. Okay, so anyway, I said a kilometer deep, 500 feet. They were releasing reports today talking about how deep their submarines are going, and it's 500 meters. So there you go. There you go. All right, also, breaking news today. A total of about $107 billion has been recovered as a result of the detention of scores of Saudi Arabian royals and businessmen in Ryda's Ritz-Carlton Hotel. It happened back in 2017, and this is according to the kingdom's Anti-Corruption Commission. It said assets collected from the 87 detainees came in a mix of cash, real estate, companies, and securities. $107 billion. They just took it. And when they arrested everybody, they didn't put them in jail. They put them up in the Ritz-Carlton. Yeah, and then took the dosh. Now check this out. You ready? Are you ready? Customers of a Canadian cryptocurrency exchange are reportedly unable to access $190 million of funds after the company's founder died with the passwords needed to access the money. His name is Gerald Cotton, 30-year-old founder of Quadragis CX. You ready? He died due to complications with Crohn's disease, and this is according to Sky News, citing Cotton's wife, Jennifer Robertson. The executive reportedly passed away in December while traveling in India, and he was there to open an orphanage. About $190 million in cryptocurrency and traditional money is said to be in cold storage, with the digital key held by Cotton. While Robertson has Cotton's laptop, She doesn't know the password, and not even a cybersecurity expert has been unable to get past the device's encryption. Write it down. Write it down. That's all you got to do. You just don't expect to. You know, what's going to happen? You go and you got your passwords in your brain, and you're traveling somewhere, and you eat some bad shellfish, right? and you don't come back from it. What does your wife or husband do? Your kids. Write that stuff down. Put it in a will. Put it in a safety deposit box. Do something. But don't let that happen, because now there is a lot of people with all of their money tied up on a dead man's laptop. That is absolutely insane. Come and join us. It's coming up in 2 short weeks. The 2019 Conscious Life Expo right here in Los Angeles at the LAX Hilton. We will have our Fade to Black booth there. That's right. You'll be able to come on up, hang out with Rita and I. We'll have all of our T-shirts there, and Alec Hoffman's going to be there with the Hoffman's Optics. That's right. The deep blue night vision goggles. We'll have that there. And we're occupying an entire wall. So come by and hang out with all of us. And so that'll be on the second floor of the mezzanine where we were last year. Okay, this year we're celebrating the 50th anniversary of Chariots of the Gods with Eric Von Daniken. And on Friday night, I will be hosting the panel, the Ancient Aliens panel, with Eric and Linda Moulton Howe and Jason Martell, Billy Carson, and Rabbi Ariel Bar Zadok. Okay, so that'll be Friday night, and you've got to get those tickets are separate for that event. Okay, so get your tickets. It's going to sell out if it hasn't already sold out. Go to ConsciousLifeExpo.com. All right, and then right after that is Contact in the Deserts. And again, a full weekend of stuff that we're doing out there at the Renaissance Indian Wells Resort and Spa. That is May 31st through June 3rd. Tickets and information at contactinthedesert.com. And then shortly after that, coming up is our 2019 Soul Tech Conference. It's over the July 4th weekend at Sunrise Ranch in Loveland, Colorado. And you need to get on the waiting list for tickets for that. You can sign up at soultechgathering.com. First come, first serve to everybody that is signed up on the waiting list for those tickets, and then it will promptly sell out. The only way to do it is to get on that waiting list at soultechgathering.com. All right. Let's rock this thing. Have you seen Bitcoin? Oh, it's kind of updated right here. It's been hovering, right? Did the crash, trying to stay above 3,400. It's been dipping below. Unbelievable. You would have thought with that crypto news today that it would have gone somewhere, either up or down. It didn't go anywhere. It's staying right there at 3,400 and change. When I say and change, 3,401, 33.99. It's right there. Subscribe to our podcast. It is just $2 per month. Go to jimmychurchradio.com. Click on that podcast banner. We have over 985 archive shows right there for you. You can also become a Fadernaut over at our membership section on the site. And that is very simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, become a Fadernaut today, and become a member. All right? And get downloadable MP3 files that you can play anywhere, autographed shirts and hats and all of that stuff. All right, at jimmychurchradio.com. Let's get the show cracking. Happy birthday to today. Alice Cooper is 71. Our dead guy's birthday today is Charles Lindbergh. 1902 to 1974, by the way. Died at the age of 72. That's right, the aviator and inventor who made the first solo airplane flight across the Atlantic Ocean in 1927. That historic flight began in Long Island, New York, and ended in Paris. He was Time Magazine's first person of the year. His son was also kidnapped and murdered in what was considered the crime of the century. On this day in history, OTD 2004, Facebook is founded. Yep, 15 years ago, nothing. And last month had over 2.3 billion active users signed in. Think about that. It's crazy. Fader fact. In 1956, are you ready? In 1956, the U.S. government exploded a nuclear bomb near bottles of beer to see if beer would still be safe to drink in the event of a nuclear apocalypse. That's right. That's a fact. And the top secret results? You can get drunk after a nuclear exchange without any health issues. And that is your Fader fact. Tonight, An0maly is here. Tomorrow night, Michael Schratt is here. Wednesday night, a very special surprise guest. We're going to make that announcement Wednesday morning. Thursday is another Fader night with open lines all night long. Now, let's go. Let me hit this River Moon coffee. Oh, the best. RiverMoonCoffee.com. F2B Blend is the promo code. 15% off of your order right now. You got to. You got to experience what I'm experiencing right here. This past Friday, Netflix launched their new series called Russian Doll. Yep. Rita and I binged it until the wee hours of the morning, and we finished it. Now, I'm going to start with this. Watch it. In fact, binge it. Highly, highly recommended. No spoilers. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. I'm not. But the ending was pretty dang cool and not at all what we had expected. And Rita and I like to think that, we're pretty smart and we like to figure things out in advance. And I'll give my play, she'll give her play, and we'll see who's right. Usually it's me. But in the case of Russian Doll, well, we got it all wrong. Okay? But no spoilers. Russian Doll is all about the Fadernauts and the listeners to this show. Because you get it all. You get time travel. You get time loops, parallel worlds, alternate realities. Seriously, it's all wrapped up with some pretty good humor and some pretty serious drama. It's amazing. You've got to check it out. It's called Russian Doll. Now, it makes you wonder if the creators, Leslie Headland, Natasha Lyonne, and Amy Poehler listen to Fade to Black. Seriously, because this series was made for us. Got to check it out. You see, last week, I talked a lot about missing time, possible alternate realities, and how we wouldn't get a chance to try and recall what may have happened, well, if you can't remember them. Remember that? Right? Then Netflix launches this series. And it makes you wonder about how the universe is really working, because Russian Doll explores all of the questions that I was asking last week. And the really trippy part is that I didn't know anything about the show until Friday morning when I was surfing IMDb, IMDb.com, there's a plug, for the new stuff premiering in February, and there was Russian Doll, and I read about it, and I was like, okay, this is us, we're going to watch it, right? And we did. But early last week was the Synchronicity King trying to tell me something. Was the universe sending me a message? Why was I flooded with all of this missing time, parallel world, alternate reality thinking, so much so that I talked about it every night on the show? Right? I don't know. Because Russian Doll explores all of the questions that I was asking. Think about that. Early last week, it all went down, and it just started coming to me. It's possible, right? The timing is certainly suspect. but very, very cool. You know, I enjoy when things like that happen. And there was a couple of moments during the show, and I turned to Rita. I said, hey, deja vu, man. I'm deja vuing right now. She's like, what? I'm deja vuing the chips, the food, the show, what you're saying. This is all, and what you're about to say is about to happen. This is kind of trippy. But that wasn't the only strange thing that happened on Friday. Nope. Because right before we started our Russian doll binge fest, Rita found the announcement from IBM about their new commercially available quantum computer. It's called the Q System 1. IBM is touting the Q System 1 as the world's first fully integrated universal quantum computing system designed for scientific and commercial use, end quote. IBM also announced 2 new customers who are using it: ExxonMobil and the European research lab CERN. That's right. The organization that built the Large Hadron Collider. That's right. CERN. So last week, my mind was focused on missing time in parallel worlds. Netflix launches Russian Doll, a time loop miniseries. And CERN is now using a quantum computer which accesses other dimensions. Right? While they are creating black holes and portals to other worlds. It makes you wonder, right? Think about it. It should make you wonder. And I couldn't figure it all out. When Rita dropped that bomb, and meanwhile, I'm deja vuing. I'm going through this, or we're watching this show, and it's time loops, and it's crazy things going on, and I'm getting emails from everybody talking about their missing time and missing memories and things, and everybody postulating. And then we get the announcement about CERN using a quantum computer. It all makes sense. It all makes sense. And you know what? I don't go down this road easily, folks. I just don't. But when it all happens at the same time, you just got to sit back and enjoy it, observe, and understand. Don't fight it. Don't push back. I don't push back. But it was all very interesting. All right. Tonight, An0maly is here. I cannot wait for this conversation. I got to hang out with An0maly last week at the NAMM show. Cool guy. And we're going to talk about that in just a minute. Tomorrow night, Michael Schratt is here. And we're going to go over some crazy UFO cases tomorrow night. I'm not going to give away anything on that. I know you're thinking I'm going to. I am not. It's just not going to happen. You'll have to wait for tomorrow night on the show. All right, so that's it. I'm going to get out of here. I'll be right back with tonight's guest, An0maly, on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. I'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us.
This is Nicole Church, daughter of you-know-who, and you're listening to Fade to Black on JimmyChurchRadio.com and the Game Changer Network.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black Blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can get our podcast for just $2 per month. All you have to do is click on the podcast banner over at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hey folks, guess what the number one phrase that Life Change Tea receives by email? You ready? We love this tea. We love this tea. Time after time, week after week, we love this tea. Life Change Tea gives you more energy, a beautiful cleansing, and fulfills its slogan perfectly. The tea that makes you go. So if you want to be on your health game, log on to getthetea.com and order Life Change Super Strength Tea. Packages come in a 1-month supply, and when you brew this stuff, wait until you see the results. Aren't we all about the results? And with a lot of people's health struggling, we can use a little bit of help. Doctors will tell you disease starts in the gut. So log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Be our next email saying, I love this tea. I love this tea. Get the tea at getthetea.com. Helping America one tea bag at a time.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Do you want to lose weight but have no idea where to begin? The Fast Start Diet, a 3-day weight loss plan, is the answer. 3 days of nutritionally balanced, calorie-restricted meals delivered right to your door. No shopping, no measuring, and no cooking. Everything is prepared for you and ready to eat at home or on the go. The Fast Start Diet has all the amazing benefits of intermittent fasting without starving. We've helped thousands of people who have struggled to reach their weight loss goals. Isn't it time we helped you? With the Fast Start Diet, you'll lose weight and feel great.
Find Fast Start Diet on Amazon or go to faststartdiet.com and use promo code TALK to get 10% off your first box. And as a special bonus, Fast Start will include their #1 rated Lipo3 appetite suppressant spray free with your order. This is Jimmy Church. And whatever your diet plans are, do what I did. Go to faststartdiet.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from An0maly, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. You can follow An0maly on Twitter at Legendary Energy, I think is what it is. It's An0maly with a 0. He's right there. Tomorrow night, Michael Schratt is here. Wednesday, we'll make that announcement Wednesday morning. Very special surprise guest. It's a big one. Thursday night, Fader night, open lines all night long. And then Friday, I'm off. And then Saturday and Sunday, I'm over hosting Coast to Coast AM. But tonight, it's all about An0maly. New Jersey raised, West Virginia affiliated, California living. An0maly is a groundbreaking news analyst, hip-hop artist, video producer, and creative visionary, combining elements of spirituality, philosophy, and real life. An0maly has become a leading voice of this generation, as well as a legendary rapper and poet. I would like to welcome back to Fade to Black, An0maly. How you doing, man?
I'm blessed. Thank you for that intro. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah. Hey, so before welcome back to the show, by the way. And it was great to hang out with you last week. That was a lot of fun. And we'll talk about that in a bit. I want to jump straight into this right now. I was looking at some of your stats. Your news analysis, over 80 million views, right, in 2017.
Yeah, almost up to like 250 million. 200. I lost count.
Yeah, right. The current tally. And your music, again, millions and millions and millions of downloads. Your poetry, millions of views, right? And weekly, you reach about 30 million people across Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Those are insane numbers. Those are numbers that Fox and CNN wish that they had. You do realize that?
It's been crazy. They banned me on Facebook for 3 days, and I got mad, so I checked out the stats for 2018, and it was 200 million minutes listened to or watched on videos. So
that's insane to me, and it goes to show you that. And let's talk. I want to jump into the Super Bowl really quick, but before we get there. You spent 3 days in Facebook jail, and it doesn't matter apparently how many followers you have, how much advertising revenue you are bringing to them. They don't care. They will slap anybody around, won't they?
It's tough. Yeah, the corporate media is not doing as well, and instead of getting better and evolving, they think that like getting rid of everyone else makes them look better, but they just need to hire better people and stop lying so much.
Well, and so much of it is done by automation, and you would, probably most of the banishment and the jail time that is done, there's no human being involved, and to get a human involved, that's next to impossible, isn't it?
It's true, yeah. It leads to the question, what's creepier, getting banned by like an AI robot or getting banned by a human?
You tell me.
Probably an AI robot, you're right.
You know what? I don't know. Maybe a human might even be creepier. That's a really, really, really great question. I have watched so much of your stuff, and I don't find any of it offensive. You play both sides of the fence. You remain objective, and so I don't and it's not like you're posting anything, nudity or violent or anything. That's not there. And all the material that you post is your own. So I don't understand what the beef is.
They pinged me for an old video of Roseanne that they had copyright over. It was on a different page, though, and then they banned both pages for 3 days, even though it's a separate page. But I did get a 24-hour ban once for posting a New York Times writer. She said something offensive, and I was joking about how bad it was, and I got censored for what she said, not what I said.
Well, and that's the other thing, An0maly, is that when things like this go down, and you can go and find this for yourself. You can go to other pages where they will have the exact same material, quotes, or copyrighted, offenses up, but they leave them alone.
Oh, for sure, yeah. It's not fair, and that's my big problem. Even with Twitter, has been under fire recently. If they stuck to their terms and conditions, that's fine. But the bias is so ridiculous that certain people could get threats and they won't take it down. And then certain people will have like a basic kind conversation and they'll get banned or suspended.
Yeah. And now I understand, and you've stated this too, that you do understand. You understand the terms and conditions. You understand what was violated. Okay. We understand that. But there's a fundamental difference between what Facebook is doing and what they did to you than what goes down on YouTube. What goes down on YouTube, basically, you upload somebody else's material and it's not yours. That is a clear violation. If you monetize it, then you are monetizing somebody else's work, and that is clearly out of bounds. Mm-hmm. You're not monetizing Roseanne's video.
No.
So
and I'm not the only one, like you said, that has it. And I get it, because I have a separate page. My An0maly page is 100% original material. I made a separate page just in case they would do that, and then they still got after both my pages. So Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, it's kind of like a gray area, because so many people will take little clips, and just like make them little viral clips. And it's okay for the most part, but then they pick and choose, I guess, when they get upset.
And what about tallies? In that, with YouTube, you've got your page, and you can see your community guideline strikes or your copyright strikes, right? 1, 2, 3, and you know
absolutely.
Where to go. But with Facebook, you don't have that comfort zone, do you?
No, and I've never been I've had little warnings and stuff, but I've never broke the rules. And they thought I did on a South African video I did, and then they put it back up after they almost took it down. So it's like they've been eyeing, and they couldn't figure out a violation. So like you said, I just would like to know, especially I'm such a big user, I would think they'd care about me to be like, hey, don't do that, or like let me take it down. You know, like you said, I don't really care about that video. So it was 6 months old or 7. It's been up for so long already, and it's never been shared recently. Like they just found it and took it.
And they have to know the reports of how many shares there are, how the advertising goes out across different users' channels and news feeds, how much revenue you bring to them. And I recognize that, but this is where it gets really funky. In the big scope of things, as large of a voice as you are, and it's big, when you're dealing with 2.3 billion users probably on any given day sharing and news organizations and stuff, that you're actually insignificant. And in their eyes, they can do without you. It's like no harm, no foul. That's what sucks. Sure. Yes.
They're so wealthy that it's like I wouldn't even make a dent. You know, it's in the grand scheme of things. That's why they can get away with it. They're so powerful and so rich, I guess, you know, in data and financial money. So yeah, they don't care about me whatsoever, for sure.
What are you going to do? Threaten them?
No, they won't even answer my messages barely. But I did get a message like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, oh, Julia or something. I was like, Julia, thank you so much. I'm so glad to hear. It's been 2 years. I've never got a message back.
And see, that's the thing. You know, if you threaten to take your toys and go home, right, and clear out the sandbox,
yeah, they don't care.
No, they don't care. They wouldn't even respond to that. Oh, let's talk. No, it's not that kind
special.
of party. Let's talk about the Super Bowl. I'm going to ask, what'd you think of the sporting side of it? What'd you think of the game?
I was pumped because I was with my friends and we had a pool as far as gifts for the winner if you guessed in the right area. And I had Patriots +6, anything over them winning by more than 6. So I won. So I was thrilled. And a bunch of Rams fans were upset, but you know,
okay,
I didn't care.
Okay, but you avoided the question like a true politician would. What'd you think of the game?
Oh, it was definitely slow. It was very boring. A lot of punts.
It was. I couldn't believe, and I've seen some disappointing Super Bowls, but I kept waiting. I wanted one of the teams to break out. It didn't matter to me. Let's see some action, see some, let's get the ball downfield. Nothing. That was nuts. And they didn't, the Patriots didn't get in the red zone until what, fourth quarter?
It was a boring game, probably one of the most boring games besides maybe the blowout year, but at least they scored that year. It's all good. I won a prize.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters. Now, what did you think about the commercials? There seemed, I don't want to ask a leading question, but I was seeing some, what I thought was some pretty disturbing messages in some of those commercials last night. Did you take note?
Yeah, well, we had a problem at the house where the audio kept going out for a while, so we missed quite a few commercials, but the propaganda in commercials, in even like ESPN, I love sports, but they can't even keep politics out of sports anymore, and I go to Amazon bookstore, like it's like propaganda everywhere, and I've always known about it and, probably been called a conspiracy theorist or whatever, but now it's so blatantly everywhere where it's just like, I'm in like a nightmare/dream. I'm like, stop.
There was, for me, an overwhelming amount of AI in the commercials.
Oh, yeah. That child baby, like when that first came on, everyone in the house, we all looked at each other. We were like, what the heck was that? That was so creepy.
That was the creepiest. And yeah, I know, right? It seems like, and you talk about this a lot, but it seems like they were just getting the masses acclimated for AI.
Yeah, I thought with the show, what is it, Bird Box or whatever, we have a suicide epidemic in America, more people committing suicide and an opioid drug problem, where I felt like that was like a slow roll to like normalizing suicides. And now it's like AI babies. And in 2 years, Elon Musk will be like, surprise, I got computer chips in your brains. We're like, oh man, Elon, we knew you were too funny to be true.
And what do you think about? Let's stay on this with the quality of the computer generated graphics that we see today. Yesterday in the commercials, they were just extraordinary, but also leading over into television series where you would normally have to go to the movies to see the latest and greatest, CG. Today, CG quality stuff where you cannot tell the difference between, your eyes are just completely fooled and your brain is fooled. That is trickling down now to guys like you and myself, the everyman, the ability to create stuff that is fake. And it is everywhere now, and you've been talking about this a lot. Does that scare you in that we will no longer be able to tell what is real and what isn't?
I've been trying to warn my audience and people in general what frightens me is the fact that we don't have that yet and people still can't figure out the truth. They're being misled by articles or video footage. So what I'm saying is if we can't figure out the truth now, we're toast when they do get to that point because we're already confused. And yeah, it's a philosophical question to ask. It's not only creepy, obviously news they can frame and propagandize stuff more than they do, but even stuff like video games is unpopular among my age. But I'm like, this isn't GoldenEye or Super Smash Bros. Anymore. When you have like actual Call of Duty, they're moving just like a human would. The movements, it's getting creepy. And people don't want to ask these questions like, oh no, video games don't cause violence. I'm like, I'm not quite saying they are, but this is not Pong or Ping or whatever it's called. Yeah, it's like it's getting real, and one day it's gonna be so real. At what point does it become a real threat? And I think these are conversations that people look down at you if you have. Like I'm saying that every shooter's from a video game. I'm like, I'm not saying that, but we're getting close to the point when you're not going to be able to tell reality from technology, I guess.
No, and it does affect your motor movements and how you think. Going back 20 years ago, PlayStation 2, Gran Turismo, right? I really got addicted to all of the Gran Turismos, but once Gran Turismo 2 came out for PlayStation 2, and I got the pedals and I got the steering wheel, the analog steering wheel, and I was able to play the game. It was so realistic that I would go out and drive my car and I would start braking early in corners, right? Right, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I would accelerate out of corners, and I would get the same feeling that I got from Gran Turismo, and that sensation only got greater over the years, and that's a perfect example of how it can affect you. It is really real. It's real. It's not like you said, Pong. You bring up GoldenEye, right? That was, as advanced as that was, is a joke today.
Absolutely. No, and there's scientific studies that it really can improve your motor skills. But like you said with the car, and I'm very superstitious and maybe sensitive to what I intake. I'm obviously not perfect by any means, but I understand that people you hang out with affect who you are. And so does games you play, movies you watch. I don't watch any television or movies whatsoever. I actually despise, I find that it's just, even if it's not a political agenda or anything, I find that it's some sort of propaganda. Like it's normalizing a lot of things that shouldn't be normal, and it's making you okay with things that are unhealthy. So even commercial wise, like the Super Bowls weren't bad as far as products, but a lot of there's pill commercial, lawyer commercial, it's not healthy to watch that. Like you could watch anything. Why would I want to sit and watch that? So with these killer games, you're literally murder. I don't even like to play the new Call of Duty. There's people scream, you're like, and I'm like, this is kind of borderline psychotic. And my friends, they think I'm crazy I'm like, I don't even want to play this, dude. It's I feel like I'm killing somebody. What's it going to be like in 10 years, 15 years? It's going to be very, very frightening.
Well, the sensation, you remember Duke Nukem?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I was around for that. People were like, dude, it's just like real life.
I know. and that is as disturbing as that was, the sounding of the gun cocking every time. and going through that, as nerve-wracking as that was, and adrenaline, and you're questioning your own morals in playing a game like that where you're shooting people in the back, right? So, but when you play Call of Duty today, just like with Gran Turismo, I feel like I could go and drive any track in the world because I've learned it like the back of my hand. Right.
And it's actually like the Call of Duty, they're moving exactly like a human.
That's right.
The exact movements. It's not like Duke Nukem, we're like going through walls and stuff like it. And Gran Turismo probably too. It's like it's exactly
the same,
accurate,
yes,
physics wise. Yeah.
So with a game like Call of Duty, not only do you have the ability to understand a weapon and how to shoot it, right, and how to aim it, you're learning that. It takes the human element out of killing somebody. That's the other thing. You don't have that emotional tie to it. And then let's flip it over one more time. What about, like with Gran Turismo, with the flight simulator program and learning how to fly an aircraft? Well, you know what? This has been brought up before, but the realism of what is going down cannot be denied, and it's only going to get more and more real by the day, by the minute.
I think the guy, I don't know if it was in Portland, but recently someone hijacked a helicopter and crashed it and killed themselves, and they taught themselves via simulator. If you go into the Army, I've heard reports and stories of they simulate the stuff before. If you play FIFA or the NBA, even if you're a pro player, you can learn skill-wise, just like, bird's eye view of the game, and it's all very accurate. And I mean, especially I'm 29. I'm sure even older people that love video games where they're just like, no, dude, no way. And I'm like, no, it's not Duke of Nukem anymore. Like, it's just, I'm not trying to ruin your fun per se, but you got to think about this stuff, because with these commercials, it's like next thing you know, you're going to turn around, there's a creepy AI baby in the closet.
Yeah, all of the Formula One drivers around the world, before they get to the track, right, for that week's race, they're practicing on Gran Turismo. Now, they got the Ferrari racing seat, and they got the real F1 wheel, and they got all of that stuff going on, but they're training on the game.
That's nuts. I don't doubt it, though, and that's the discussion no one wants to have. They think they're like, dude, you sound like my mom. I was like, well, your mom's right. Listen to your mom.
And why? I know. I sound like my dad right now, and I hate it. But this is the thing. What is it going to take for not only your audience and my audience, but the rest of the world to start using some discernment and checking out what they are looking at to see if it's real or fake?
It's a good question. There's the old saying, you could lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, where the warnings are out there from, Elon Musk on the Joe Rogan podcast to just pretty much leaders in every probably religion and spirituality and even every aspect of life. Like there's very wise people out there telling people these things, but I don't know how many people want to take it seriously. But I believe if you do, your life will change, because if you cut out certain things and you really think about what you intake, then that's helped me change my life for the better, for sure. So I try to help people, but if they don't want to listen, that's up to them.
Well, you've been driving this message home. And one of the things, and I'm going to set up for when we come back, we're going to take this conversation further, is your research that you do that's presented in any one of your videos is pretty extensive. And you're going back and you're pulling video files and you're pulling images and you're saying, hey, I spoke to you about this before. Here it is now. Here it is being reused, whatever. How do you get that research done? Do you have people working around you, or is all of that done by yourself?
It's all done by me, 100%. Sometimes my friends will send me a lead here or there, but yeah, I have no team, no manager. I do all the production, the editing, the finding. It's just like I see it, and then I guess now I'm able to do it full time. So I save it or I download it and then try to make a really compelling argument, because a lot of stuff, I'm sure you get it too, where it's people are like, dude, that's a conspiracy theory, but sometimes it's like right out in the open. people just don't want to see it, regardless of what it is. It's like, no, it's there, and they've said it. You didn't hear it.
And what do you do? Oh, somebody just tweeted out, Brian just said he's playing Call of Duty Black Ops 4 while listening to us.
He would. No, just kidding.
Is that, and then there's the other part where you are trying to tell people, and I go through this all the time, no, it's not what you think it is. It's fake, or it's a hoax, or it was an image from 2004. It wasn't taken last week, and they still won't listen. And you say it all the time. I hear you do it. What do you do with that? How do you convince people?
I have a really good one that actually on YouTube now you have to log in to be 21 years old. Like, it's so terrible. I didn't even curse in the video, but I have one of all the propaganda pictures that, they helped. The Syrian war was based off a picture of a kid where the father said they took a picture, like staged it, and then used it against his will, the opposite agenda that he and his family supported. So I try to get the most compelling evidence, but it's definitely tough because every week, people play into their bias on either side. So if it sounds good and there's a headline, it spreads so quickly, and like people don't care about evidence or audio. I look for audio, video, and I'm very careful nowadays, but people just want to be right and win. So they'll go with any story or any headline that fits, their team.
When do you think their team? When do you think that this started? Where if it's on the internet, they only need to read it once, and their paradigm is shifted, and you cannot bring them back off of that. When did this trend start? Did this go on when we were kids? I don't remember it being so severe.
I'm sure they lied a lot on television and stuff when we were kids, but I think the real shift was, Trump won and the internet kind of came at the same time, and he's kind of like an internet troll president, good fit for him, where like nowadays everybody piggybacks off one story. So one person says it and then everybody reports it because everyone wants the clicks. Everyone wants to be first. And now things spread so rapidly and especially with Trump, I find that people really don't like him. And they let their emotions, come into play a lot, where people don't look for evidence anymore, or it's like it's so loose. And on either side, it could be like anonymous source said this, and then everyone, well, who's that? Who is that? Like what does that mean? Because now it's becoming like gossip rags, like a TMZ or National Enquirer, where it's like it's a gossip now, or like what is that? So it's gotten that way, and it just looks like no one's in a rush to change it back to like credible evidence and I guess like analysis that's fair. I've heard when I was probably not even born, but it's like people were on both sides, but they at least made an effort to be somewhat honest as opposed to like ridiculous. But yeah, it's amped up the last couple of years.
Let's take a break right here. Our guest tonight is An0maly. We're going to cover everything tonight. We are talking about the mass media, censorship, conspiracy, all of that, and his reporting and his style. We're going to do all of that, and we're going to talk some hip-hop, too, later on tonight. All of that is going... We got to talk about 21 Savage, An0maly. Don't let me get you out of here without going straight there. It's Fade to Black, An0maly, right after this short break. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas. Come join us for the 2019 Conscious Life Expo in Los Angeles at the LAX Hilton. This year, we are celebrating the 50th anniversary of Chariots of the Gods with Eric Von Daniken, and I'll be hosting the panel with Eric, Linda Moulton Howe, Jason Martell, Billy Carson, and join George Norrie, Nassim Haramein, Robert Schock, Daniel Brinkley, Grant Cameron, Julia Mossbridge, and another 50 speakers who will be presenting at the 2019 Conscious Life Expo. Just go to ConsciousLifeExpo.com for tickets and a full conference schedule, or click on the CLE banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Go back, Lee Tappy.
Folks, this is very important information. What's to be said about CBD? AncientLifeOil.com. Our CBD is made from hemp and has 0.003 THC, which means this wonderful product won't get you high, no matter what amount you take. What does CBD do for the body? My hands are tied. But you can Google CBD benefits and be astounded. When you're finished reading, you'll want to log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com and purchase. Life is good when you feel good. People are tired of pain. People are asking for non-GMO organic products to help them with you fill in the blank. Legal in 49 states, and again, our CBD is made from hemp. Ancient Life Oil is about helping people one by one by one. If you wonder how good the product is, the CEO takes it every day without miss. AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Have a great day.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Well, yes. We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. And you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
Reclaim your active lifestyle with Angioprim. Angioprim is the original liquid oral chelation supplement. Chelation helps remove toxins, heavy metals, and cholesterol in your veins and arteries that can cause blockages. Scientific research proves the active ingredient in Angioprim has superior oral chelation action that helps promote cardiovascular health. Find out more. Go to angioprim.com. Talk to a trained consultant by calling Angioprim toll-free 877-882-7221.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can become an official Fadernaut by just going to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hey, it's Grace. Can we talk about something serious for a minute? Your age. Getting old has its perks. But remember, being a few years younger, you know, your hair was thicker, you didn't have so many wrinkles, that extra weight wasn't haunting you, and you just felt better. Well, we can't turn back the clocks and go back 10 or 15 years, but you can start feeling and looking 10 or 15 years younger with Nature's Youth RSF. It's a doctor-formulated daily supplement that helps your body maintain its peak performance and fight the aging process. Imagine sleeping better, looking better, and feeling better. See how Nature's Youth RSF has helped thousands of people just like you at nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com. Imagine how it will feel when your family and friends are asking you what you did to look so good. Your secret will be Nature's Youth RSF. It's time to start looking better and feeling better. Learn more and order your Nature's Youth RSF at nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com.
Hello, this is Serena Wright Taylor from Conscious Life Expo, and you're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church, who holds the Lucky Pony record for the best astrological chart since 1963. True story.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, An0maly. Tomorrow night, Michael Schratt is here. Wednesday night, very special surprise guest. We're going to announce that on Wednesday morning. So get ready for that. Thursday, Fader night, open lines. And then I'm over hosting Coast to Coast all weekend. So there you go. And tonight it is An0maly. An0maly, I brought this up before the break. Right now, we are in the midst of a 2.5 year fake news dilemma, where even the news, even the mass media, is talking about the fake news, almost like they wear it proudly on their sleeve. Mm-hmm. But you have been able to do something that I thought, and I brought this up.
is totally commendable, which is going back and actually doing the research. Most people, when they see an image, don't take 2 seconds out of their day and right-click on it and do a Google search. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. On both sides, too, it's like people want things to be true and happen. And there's things that I want to happen for sure. But if it didn't happen, it didn't happen. And like today, my friend sent me an article and it was like, this person got arrested. And I'm like, dude, it didn't happen. Like I don't know what to tell you. Like maybe I wish it happened, but I guess people are more, more privy to just feeling right and feeling virtuous rather than actually taking, like you said, 5-10 seconds cross-referencing. And that's a whole nother, barrel of monkeys per se, where even if you Google sometimes there's a lot of, fact checker sites and also biased partisan sites that will try to tell you that some things are true that aren't true. It's a very muddy water.
Well, even if you did a full video teaching everybody how to right-click and do a little bit of research for yourself, there are those that are going to be in denial, and even some that they don't want the world to be crushed, right? Because now they're going to have to go back and rethink everything that they have been basing their life around, because minds have been changed. And it's very hard to get people to go back and visit the other side of the fence, isn't it?
Absolutely. I get because I like to be kind of unpopular. If there's someone I like that people on the right don't want me to like and I like them, I'll say it, and vice versa. But it's like if Trump or anyone says they like water and you do like water, you can't just pretend not to. And I feel like there's a lot of that on both sides where they just want to win. But if it's like a solution that, affects everyone, there's not really, it's either true or it's not. And I find that a sad majority of people don't really care. Like they just want to own the person. And I think that's become very toxic because, Trump's obviously a boisterous character, but it's like at the end of the day, either what he's saying is right or it's wrong. And I think in pursuit of trying to own him, like it's like a battle. It's become literally it's like a Twitter troll battle on a major scale. It's entertaining, but it can be sad for sure.
I know. And it doesn't matter what side of politics, religion's doing the same thing. Sports is doing the same thing. In that everything is divided right now, and they want to keep it that way. They don't want people crossing back over, or changing their minds. And the media is probably responsible for the majority of this, and that includes Facebook, and that includes Twitter. But and what I mean by that is, if the news is caught red-handed, right? Mm-hmm. They don't admit it. They'll move on to the next news cycle and hope that their mistake gets lost in the wash. And that's the other part where I think we're in very, very dangerous water here, because they know that the news cycle now, it's not a 24-hour news cycle. It's a 60-minute news cycle these days.
Absolutely. And that's why I preach a lot of, not a preach per se, I'm not a preacher, but self-awareness and self-accountability, because if people didn't let them do that or they didn't support it, then they wouldn't be able to do that. But they do. And if enough people don't care, I almost say, well, it's our fault instead of theirs. I'll give you a quick example. Time magazine had this girl on a cover that they said she got separated from the mother. They made it the Time magazine cover. It turns out that they actually got the story wrong. She was never separated with the mother from border security, and they ended up retracting it. But literally 20 paragraphs and articles down, it was so far down, it was almost a comedy, where it's like, regardless of the side, if that's the type of person you are, that when you make a huge mistake like that, you bury it 20 paragraphs, and that's not good. Either side should hold the people accountable. Like, man, that's kind of dishonest. If I had millions of views on a video and it was totally wrong, and then I retracted it at the bottom of the comment section, it's just not right. And I guess people don't care, or I don't know what it is, but it's definitely not journalistic or whatever you'd call it.
Yeah, the retraction that is buried is not what is remembered, even if it's read. The damage is done when you post the fake image or fake news story, because that is what gets shared and retweeted, and you know, that's what's gone viral. The retraction, the buried retraction or the admission, that doesn't get retweeted, right?
No, absolutely. The first one will get, say, like 60,000 retweets. And sometimes, like, I'll use Jake Tapper, for instance. It's just an old one I remember where he had, for the network or something, he had said, like, hey, this is the correction. But it gets maybe like 80% less. And even outside of politics, like I know, say like in conspiracy theories, I'm very skeptical and I obviously believe in certain things, but even within that movement, there's people who will believe anything. You know, it's like, dude, do a little bit of research. Like, just because it fits the narrative of being maybe anti-establishment, it doesn't mean it's true. And when people muddy the waters like they're doing with like everything's racist, it's bad, because now you can't pinpoint it. And no matter if it's conspiracies, politics, if you muddy the waters where no one knows up from down and left from right, it's kind of where we're at. And it's, I pray for like a normal restoring of order so people can have like mental sanity back.
What do you think? What's your take on these deep fake videos that are trending all over the place right now?
Like which example?
When you put, they're called deep fakes, when you put somebody's face on somebody else's face and it talks with AI.
Oh, yeah.
And so you can't tell the difference between what is real and what isn't.
They're creepy. I mean, some of them can be funny because I know people do it for comedy. There's this comedian that's really funny on Instagram. But I'm thinking what we were talking about 20 minutes ago. I'm like, where's this going to go? It's already getting close where, I mean, that's why I'm trying so hard to get people to figure out the truth now. Because it's like, if we can't get to that point now, these deep fake AI things are just going to get more and more realistic, and the audio transmission, we're heading towards some very confusing times, I guess would be the right word.
Yeah, that software is available to anybody, right? And somebody, not that you would do this, but here's a classic example. You know, you potentially reach, 10, 20, 30 million people a week, right? Mm-hmm. And if you had a dark soul and you wanted to send a message, you could go and take a video and put somebody's face on it, you type the script out, right? You actually choose the words. You type the script, you run that into the AI. The AI is then speaking your words, and this face is speaking your message, and the video anomaly is a real video.
You understand, and then it changes my mouth or something?
Oh, that's right. And and so you could, or what if I took an An0maly video, right?
Don't do it, Jimmy.
Right. And you go and you just pump the words into it, and your face is now, it's not different audio. Your face is speaking the audio with expressions and everything else. It's a first generation real video. Now you are stuck, An0maly, in convincing people that it's not really you. And that's the danger that we're all in. Remember what we just said about the Time magazine cover, right? Yeah. You could go and prove the video isn't real, right? That somebody created it and somebody, used this AI engine to do it, but the damage is done.
Yeah, that's a whole nother bag of worms. And I don't know. I'm already at the point now where I'm bracing for some sort of media backlash eventually anyway. So it's like it's going to get weird and ugly. And like I said, if people can't figure out a still video and picture that it's fake with a 5-second Google search, then like this first generation, the second, third, fourth, like 2 years, 3 years, it's probably going to be near identical. I'm happy and optimistic and excited, but at the same time, it's just like I'm bracing to be like a cyborg if I have to. Like, see what happens.
There was a video that came out, started making the circulations last week, and if you saw it, great, you can comment on it. But what it was, it's a video of a lady speaking at the United Nations, and that part of the video is real. Well, it turns out that she's not. But the UN General Assembly Hall is real, and she stands up and says, okay, we've been contacted by an alien race. They came over the Pentagon in a pyramid-shaped craft, and she gives this presentation, right? And it goes viral. Now, I'm looking at it, And I get a hold of the original video without her in it. And it's Erdogan of Turkey, right, coming out speaking about whatever in Syria, whatever. But now both videos are there. You can see the one with Erdogan, same people, everything's the same in both videos. But now that the other video circulated, there are those out there that are going, no, man, she's actually the real one. The one you're looking at, they put Erdogan in to throw you off the scent of, the real UN ET video. It's like, oh, man. And so now we have to waste our time convincing others that once they see it, it's done. The damage is done. And that's another example of what I'm talking about here.
Totally. No, and it happens in every little, like, no matter how, quote, air quotes, woke, your side of the debate is, there's always those people who do, like, no matter if it's UFOs, this or that, like, there's a huge subsect that will believe the totally wrong thing and then be like, dude, you're not woke enough. You think that's really, like, you're like, no, that's the fake video. I know. It's going to be crazy. It's going to get crazy.
It's like they're too woke. There was a.
They need to take a nap.
I know, right. In Orville last week, the TV series last week in Orville, there was a quote in there that my producer Renee sent to me, and she said, "This is the best quote of the show," and this was the quote, and you're gonna laugh. You can't be so open-minded that your brain falls out your ear, right?
Amen. The facts. I say that sometimes. I know I didn't create it, but that's what it is. Like, and people are getting to that point. But these are the discussions that we should be having. Even I took a ride home with a girl. She was in her 20s. My friend, he's my age, in his later 20s. And we all had different politics, but we had a long discussion, and we all were like compromising. I'm like, that's true, but this is, and they're like, oh, that's true. And I was like, why is this discussion better than anything I've seen in American politics? Like, they're not talking about AI. They're not compromising. They're not having like philosophical discussions about like the future of the economy. It's a total clown show. Like, no matter who you like or don't, it's a clown show. And there's impending AI and they're talking about like, did Trump feed the fish in Japan? Like, who cares? Like, did he throw a lot or a little? Like, they're fish. We got robots in Super Bowl video or Super Bowl commercials.
And I'm surprised that, you're surprised that you had a civil conversation in social media where you have got so many people following you and making comments. Are you surprised at how quickly the tide turned where anybody will start a fight with anybody now?
Yeah, I mean, I think online you wouldn't say certain things you would say on, say, Twitter. I love going live and talking to people because there's no tone of context on Twitter. So people might think I'm really mad or being mean, but if I said it, they'd be like, oh, he's being funny or humorous. So the text-based Twitter thing may be the worst thing out of everything. I mean, I like Twitter as well, but you wouldn't text, like, I would say something bold, Twitter, but I would never say it in a room of people probably, and we all do that. So I think that has kind of perverted the normal order of like, how we communicate. And some of it's great and it's very convenient, obviously, and I'm very grateful for that. But some of it has given us, like, there's things that people, 99% of things, they'd never say that. But when they're behind a computer, it's a lot easier to tweet it or write it on YouTube.
And then we have the problem of sock puppets. AI bot accounts that are out there running in real time just to stir the pot, just to mess with your mind. And nobody picks up on that. They take the bait every time.
Yeah, there's that. There's also nowadays, organizations that will flock people to you for that reason, or maybe to downrank you and, try to get maybe your sponsors taken away. There's a lot of psychological warfare, and that there's a good video. This guy, Yuri, he's a Russian defector from the KGB, and he explained the psychological manipulation that Russia would do from the 80s. So they tried to like infiltrate, but like in a sneaky way, and get people to kind of turn against themselves. So that's always, I think, been a part of maybe their tactics. But now with the internet, there's different ways to do that. It's like a psychological battle going around the world because, even say like slavery was ended, actually in some parts of the world, it's still around. But once you can't physically enslave someone, the first thing you want to do is mentally enslave them. And I think even America, we're the land of the free for sure, but there's a lot of mental enslavement that they're trying to do, I feel like.
Yeah, and we used to laugh about that kind of stuff. I think that we were able to see through it. If you know what it was like when you're 5 years old, you're with your mom at the supermarket, 6 years old, and you look over on the rack and there's a National Enquirer, and it's the cover is Hillary Clinton has an alien baby with Elvis, right?
Yep.
And there's Elvis, there's Hillary, and it's old Elvis, right? And an alien two-headed baby on the cover, and you laugh. Today, that same thing goes out on Facebook, and everybody believes it. It's like, I don't get it. It's just phenomenally stupid to me, but yet they take the bait every time. And that level of, I always say, discernment, judgment, what is real and what isn't, is completely gone. It's like it's an unused, what's the word I want to use? An unused talent. We don't use it anymore.
No, you're right. And I understand to an extent why people do that, because people do not trust the government. Like an overwhelming majority on both sides or in the middle don't trust the government. A lot of people don't trust the media, and rightfully so. But now it's, like you said, their brain's so open that it falls out. And when it comes to that type of stuff, I think that's gotten a hold of people, and they've never restored the balance. And now it's just a total free-for-all, I guess, of information, and everyone's being lied to. And I think people cling to certain leaders that seem strong because they seem more trustworthy. And that's even why I've had success, is because, it's like, all right, well, this guy's better than them. But common sense goes a long way. And I think a lot of the things they do is they try to strip basic common sense from people, because if you don't have that, you're easy control. But like certain things, no matter if you're 10 years old or 70, like we used to just know that stuff. Like you said, like it's just common sense. Like, no, that's not real. That's real. And we don't have we've gotten so smart, yet I've talked to, some older people that own businesses, and he's like, I'm almost positive like your generation's dumber. Like they can't do math. They can't add, so we might be getting dumber too. I don't know.
How connected are you throughout the day? In that, are you constantly connected via cell phone, tablet, laptop, car? Are you like everybody else, right? They can't stop checking their phones. I do the same thing.
For sure. It's bad.
It is. And it wasn't like this, 15 years ago. We didn't have that ability. And now today, the man has figured it out. They have figured out a way to compile this data and to keep us glued, to keep the information coming at all cost.
Absolutely. And even with the common sense stuff, the people in charge, I'm not quite sure what they're doing. I feel like this reminds me of an old John Lennon quote. He was like, I don't know what they're doing, like talking about the world leaders. But they got the algorithms, the machine learning, they have all the data, but I'm not sure what they're doing. I heard Jack Dorsey, CEO of Twitter, was on Joe Rogan, and he's like, we want healthy, healthy, healthy. And Joe asked him what healthy was. He didn't answer. But I'm like, bro, what's healthy to you? Because like what you guys are pumping out and facilitating, I'm not sure that it is. And these are discussions that we need to have. But I don't know. From politics to media to the tech companies, like you would expect them to be super common sense based, intelligent, and they are smart, but it does seem like our leadership is very, very poor all the way around. But it's a blessing in disguise, because me and you are allowed to have a radio show. So, thank you guys for dropping the ball. Me and Jimmy could pick it up.
That's a great point. And speaking of that, honest journalism now is a thing of the past, in that the media outlets are depending on Twitter and Facebook to respond to a story, and the investigation goes on inside of an office on a computer. Nobody's leaving the office anymore. Nobody's going out and questioning or doing anything like that. They are trying to get the clicks on Twitter and get the jump on or respond to something else where it's instantaneous. They don't have the time to go out and investigate and then write on the story the next day.
And I think a lot of them, the mainstream ones, they have like a specific agenda where if you don't fit in that mold, you probably can't even work there. So people have lost the trust. They're losing a lot of money. And recently, Huffington Post, BuzzFeed, and Vice, they had to downsize significantly, but it's like, and now they're trying to rig Google algorithms, and Facebook's giving $100 million to local news. And it's their narrative is we're saving journalism. But my thought is like, you guys are losing for a reason. And they're trying to like bail themselves out like they bailed out the banks and the automotives. But it's like, obviously I don't want people to lose their jobs, but you guys suck. And it's like people are going on to different people because you're not honest. And in pursuit of keeping their fake journalism alive, what they're bending over backwards for each other and censoring and silencing everyone else. They're becoming authoritarian, and I don't know if they know it or not. But old media is not as trustworthy as other people. You can have like this conversation. I don't think it would be allowed on Fox News or CNN. I've never heard them talk about AI ever, No,
that's exactly right. And what you are doing and what I try to do here is just that. I'm not driven by anybody. Nobody controls me. Okay, I own this company. Well, Rita, it's more Rita than me.
She's in the back. She's like, I own this company. Yeah, Get back to work. No, just kidding.
But to be clear with everybody, nobody tells me what to do, right? The buck stops here. I have on my own guests. I ask my own questions. I'm not driven by corporate sponsors. My sponsors enjoy my show. I am allowed to speak freely about everything. And that's exactly the same for you. Nobody tells you what to do, and that's about as honest as it can be.
Absolutely. And a lot of these, corporations, I understand you birds of a feather flock together, but they've become like a hive mind. And also, I think political correctness got the best of them, where I'm a very kind person. I at least try to be. And they're mistaking like kindness with foolishness, where it's like, don't say that, don't say this offends me, that offends me. I'm all for being nice, and I think we've made some progress, but they're like tripping over themselves, and then they can't figure out, like BuzzFeed put out an article, no offense, but it was like, what kind of fart would you be if you were a fart? And I'm like, maybe that's not popular journalism. Maybe it's not like journalism's melting. Maybe people are want something a little deeper than that. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds I mean, so somebody's sitting around, you know what I mean? You've got the news director and the other editors are sitting around a table, and somebody suggests that for an article. You know what I mean? And somebody
and
actually
they publish it.
Yeah, somebody sat back and went, "Yeah, that's good. That's good."
Yeah,
how many?
For sure.
How many clicks?
And I don't feel like that's why I don't feel bad. They actually I can't confirm this but I'm almost positive they started banning people who are joking to them, being like, "Hey, learn coding. You guys need to learn coding." It's a mean joke for sure to someone who just, but they're banning people for that. It's like, dude, like, I don't know. Where does the line between comedy and like political correctness? And I'm very anti-political correctness because that leads to really bad things. Like some of these wars that have started and caused millions of casualties and refugees started because people care more about the way someone says something rather than like what's actually happening. And that's the media helps hide that because they own so much, between the corporations, where it's like, if they don't tell you it happened, you might not know it happened.
That's exactly right. An0maly is our guest. Let's take a break right here. When we come back, I'm going to talk some hip hop. You can let me. Can you let this old white guy talk some hip hop with you, An0maly?
Of course. You're the man.
Okay. All right. Let's do it when we get back. This is Fade to Black. Our guest, An0maly. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. And last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing An0maly, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Nu-Mana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Nu-Mana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Nu-Mana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously, go Beckley Tappy. Do you want to be an official Fadernaut? Of course you do. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Just go to our membership section at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
If you have hard water, the lime scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate lime scale and other water issues like brown staining and bad odors with HydroCare water products, available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable water systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Are you intrigued by paranormal talk radio? You'll love the new paranormal radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the paranormal radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the paranormal radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Our guest tonight, An0maly. You can follow An0maly at An0maly with a 0. It's actually Legendary Energy.
Yeah, Legendary Energy on Twitter. You got some Twitter people keeping the heat on Twitter. I see it.
Yeah,
I was
man.
retweeting.
Yeah, they don't play around, man. We do about 3,000-4,000 tweets every night during the show. And they don't take their foot off the gas. 21 Savage. Now, look, you're a hip-hop artist yourself. What did you think? Okay, first, let's start at the beginning. What did you think when you got the news that he was arrested in a sting operation?
I just saw the memes at first. They were savage with their British memes. I was laughing pretty hard, but I'm not a huge fan of his. I don't know that much music, so I was like, oh no, he got arrested by ICE or something. And then I was trying to figure out if he said he was from Atlanta or not, because I guess he's from Great Britain. So I was doing some research to see if he lied, or if, like, because everyone's like, oh, he lied. So I'm always in news mode. I'm like, let me see if that's true or not.
Well, okay. Let me take this tack on the whole thing. He was arrested for drugs back in 2015, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's street cred. right? If you're going to be an OG rapper from the streets, you need to have, you got to have a drug conviction somewhere. And so that was cool. But the part that I found a little disturbing, and especially if I was a fan of his, is that he wasn't born in Atlanta. Right? Yeah. Is as a I mean, do our hearts getting broken, with that thought he was somebody else?
Yeah, I think probably, but honestly, not to clown on his fans, but a lot of these rappers in that category, it's like believing fake news all the time, where a lot of these rappers are total liars. Because first of all, if you live that life, like a Tekashi 6ix9ine, he had the rainbow hair. Yeah. He did that stuff, and now he's going to jail for like 50 years. Bobby Shmurda did that stuff. He's in jail. So either you're in jail and you tell the truth, or you lie and you don't. And a lot of these rappers say, "Oh, I don't even do pills. I just talk about them." Meanwhile, there's tens of thousands of kids dying from pills. So I hate to be a hater, because I do hip hop and I have some friends, but like a lot of these guys are just losers. So it's like if you listen to losers and then you find out they're a loser, like that's on you. Like, because even if you do what he says, you'll probably end up in prison or dead.
Well, aren't you eventually, and especially today, information is everywhere. Aren't you going to get caught? Wasn't he ever, afraid of somebody's going to blow his cover sooner or later?
I don't know what mind state these people are in, because like I said, either you're lying and now you're living a lie and you got a $10,000 Gucci belt, or you're telling the truth and you're going to get caught. I mean, I don't know like what goes through their head. They've so far lost me, and there are some good rappers and people I like, but it's like trash in, trash out. I'm at the point now in my life where I love hip hop, but like they gotta have like Andre 3000 from Outkast, very wise, very soulful. Like these guys that are like, yeah, dog, I paid $2,000 to kill someone else. I'm like, that's not my zone.
Do you remember? You remember the movie CB4?
What was it?
What? You didn't see CB4? You can't be a rapper and not see CB4.
I'm lame. I told you the last movie I saw was, I think maybe Transformers or Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
CB4 was a movie with Chris Rock from the 90s where he plays a rapper called MC Gusto. But this is the joke about the movie. Gusto was a real guy that goes to prison. So he assumes Gusto's personality and becomes, but he's not a gangster from the streets. He's just a kid from a middle class neighborhood with a dad that went to work every day, right? But he puts on the dreadlock wig and the gold teeth, and he assumes this thing, but he gets caught, right? He gets caught, and Gusto, the real killer Gusto, ain't happy about it. Now it's a comedy, but the point is, you can go out and have the success, and 21 Savage did that. I mean, we're talking about Grammys and #1 record. I mean, definite amount of success, but you can ride that for only so long before you're going to get caught, just like Chris Rock did in CB4.
Yeah, absolutely. Another real life situation that happened is there's a rapper named Rick Ross, and there was a famous drug dealer named Freeway Ricky Ross, who he was named after. And this rapper was in jail. He sold millions of dollars of drugs to the government, and he taught himself how to read in jail and ended up getting out on a loophole. Really incredible story. And as soon as he got out, he sued the rapper Rick Ross for stealing his identity, but he actually lost in court.
That's CB4, right? And you are going to get caught tonight after the show. An0maly. That's your homework. Write that down. CB4.
Do I have to? Well, I was gonna say, should I illegally boot it? But I was like, now I'm gonna get caught for trying to stream a movie illegally. So we'll keep it on the down low.
Yeah, keep it on the down low.
Send me a DVD or something, or else I don't want.
It is such, as far as the hip hop world goes. There's to me, there's two required movies. There's CB4 and Fear of a Black Hat. Have you seen Fear of a Black Hat?
No, it's because I'm not a movie person. Like I've seen so few movies, it kind of creeps people out. Like
That's okay.
Maybe my attention span or something.
Okay, but as far as the hip hop world goes, those are the two funniest rap movies. Fear of a Black Hat is right up there with something like Spinal Tap. You know, it's one of the funniest movies ever made. And coming from me, if I say that, I'm pretty much on the money. Now, you just did, okay, now, what's his name? His name is escaping me right now from Glee. Was just...
is it Jesse Smollett? Or
yes.
That guy? Yeah.
Yes. Now, no, it wasn't Glee. It was...
Empire.
Empire, Glee.
But he's gay. He's
gay. See,
Glee.
So Glee came to mind first.
Okay.
Man, everybody save the email. Save it. Just please save it.
Oh, you're good.
That was an honest mistake.
You're like, was it Hamilton? You're like, no, man.
Yeah, was it Hamilton?
I'm just kidding. You're good.
Oh, well played. Yeah, maybe it was Hamilton.
No, it's Empire. I got you.
It was Empire.
Yeah.
What's going on with this? I want to hear your take.
Yeah, so because I'm so into the news stuff, there's been literally dozens of fake stories and misrepresented stories, and so many recently that it broke on the news, and they said that the attackers had a MAGA hat and they put a rope around him. And I mean, it seemed like a extremist hate crime. It was 2 a.m. in Chicago. And I was like, whoa, like, I'm very skeptical. So at first I'm like, this seems extreme, but I never rule it out. I'm never like, no, he's lying. Like, I'm always like, this doesn't sound believable, but anything could happen. Obviously, there's terrible people everywhere. So the story started breaking down, and then the news said, wait, no, they didn't have MAGA hats on. That's a lie, and then like, everything with the story wasn't adding up. They had pictures of two guys walking away. He said he was on the phone with his manager. He left the rope on his neck, around his neck, for 40 minutes before he called the police. Like, it just, something wasn't adding up. So I did a whole story, on it, just asking questions as nicely as I could be. And it's been a week now, but even like you were talking about earlier, the damage is done. They framed it against MAGA supporters. And this is the type of stuff, whether you support Trump or not, you don't want to anger people for no reason. Like, if you attack Trump or Trump supporters, you want to be right about it, and vice versa, or else you're just going to anger people and accomplish nothing. So, I'm like, what? They just did the Native American kids story where that was totally misrepresented completely. And it's just like, man, like, relax. It just happened. So still, there's not really any, full story on it. I'm sure he has lawyers at this point, but I'm curious as to what really happened. And I guess what really bothers me about it is, like, Chicago had 500 plus people murdered. It's one of the most dangerous cities. And it's like, you'll talk about this for a month. It won't lead to anything, but they ignore the fact there's 1-year-old and 2-year-old kids getting killed on like a monthly basis, and no media seems to care about it.
And how many CCTV cameras are now in Chicago?
Oh yeah, I think 30,000. So if something happened, they literally got a camera on every corner, and they caught, like, it's not adding up. And I'm not saying he lied. I'm not saying something didn't happen, but here's the thing. This is why the justice system exists. They push the believe all women narrative, and it's like, of course, we have to have a special place in our heart for women, but men can lie, women can lie, women can get framed, men can get framed, police can be bad, citizens can be bad. I don't buy into this like hive mind, like it's 100% their fault. And with him, it's like, I don't know the guy, but it's like, people have lied before, and maybe it was a date gone bad, or maybe, like, I mean, Chicago, it can be a dangerous city in certain areas where it's not like crime is, foreign to that. It could have been a hate crime. I'm not ruling it out, but it's like, dude, I don't need to see the Carfax. I need to see I need to see the footage. Like, if they got 30,000 cameras.
Why do you think they're holding back? I know that, no, I don't know this as a fact, but I feel like they are holding back the footage. That's what because if the crime went down as he said it, and it may have, I don't want to imply anything.
Yeah.
But you would think that footage would be all over the place. I don't understand why they wouldn't release the video footage.
Well, not to be a conspiracy theorist on Jimmy Church Radio, but this isn't the first time they held the footage back. You know what I mean? No, but in general, like I'm sure his lawyers are involved, and it's gonna be a big situation. So I just honestly I don't. I'm at the point now where either they're hiding it or like maybe it's tough too with him too, because if you look at his Twitter, he clearly is very extreme with his political views, where it's like, dude, you can't like, and this goes to either side, like you can't just make a lie that big. If it turns out to be a lie, that's a big thing. And if it turns out to be true, it's a big thing as well. Like people need to settle down and stop being crazy, but it's definitely not adding up, and I want to see the footage always. If there's footage, audio or video, I got to see it.
See, this is, and I'm looking at the tweets that are coming in about this. There's a couple of things, and again, it may have happened, and if it did, it's a horrible hate crime, and we need to find the people that did it. Okay, but there's some issues that I'm raising here. One. Do you really go all the way home with the rope around your neck?
That's 40 minutes.
It doesn't feel, I'm not saying he's lying. Maybe there's a reason why he couldn't get it off his neck. But do you really do that? I don't know. I don't know. It just doesn't. This is where I use discernment, where I'm just stepping back going, it's horrible if it happened the way that it did. That just sucks. There's no room for that in society. But man, you need to answer some questions. Why did you leave the rope around your neck for 40 minutes? Give me that answer and let's move on.
There's something about it, but I kind of said my piece. I did some research and I'm just waiting to see how it unfolds. But the initial scoop is there, and I don't like to be skeptical, but I've done so much research that there's been so many stories where just last year, I guess a couple months ago, he was a CNN Journalist of the Year. He won an award from Germany, and he admitted to fabricating 16 stories, like phone calls with Kaepernick that never existed, interviews with Trump supporters that weren't real.
Right.
And then he said, like, I need help. I'm so sorry. Like, where I'm like, dude, my man, like, so it's like, I'm just like king skeptical. Even people like my friend, dude, I'm like, dude, that's not true. Or at least like show me something. I need more.
Well, this is the problem. And this is the problem with the media today and social media. When you go and do something like this and it turns out to be untrue, like the kids at the Lincoln Memorial, right? And that video that went around with the Native American, that was misleading from the word go. And it felt a little funky, but nonetheless, the damage is done with the video. That's it. You can't unsee the video. And in this case, if the attack, all of the people that are coming to his defense right now and trying to figure this out, and the resources and all of the organizations across the country, and it turns out to be untrue, the next person that this happens to, and it's real, now we have the boy that cried wolf, right? You're not going to have people as alarmed, and you're not going to have the same effect that you had this time around. And that is the danger.
Absolutely. And the celebrities are very, very, I started calling them the celebrity elite class, because it's like they're so out of touch with working class people, and they have such big voices. Where I did videos on, it was Kevin Hart and Jennifer Lopez. I love them both, and they have a reach of like almost 200 million people. They're enormously popular. Kevin Hart put up a video of kids in jail, but it was from a 2014 Russell Simmons video, and he was saying it was from 2018. And I was like, dude, it's fake. And Jennifer Lopez was like, oh my God, look at this picture. It was from a girl in Mosul, Iraq, which I would have loved J-Lo's help. And, a few years ago during the Iraq war, it would have been very helpful. But it's like, you can't do this, because I understand you might have a political opinion about certain situations, but if you're pushing a legitimately fake story or picture, it's very, very damaging. And it's part of the reason now why we can't solve anything, because everyone, whether you're a conspiracy theorist or you watch mainstream media, people don't trust like anything anymore. And it's like, and then they're quick to believe someone that they consider honest, and it's a real mess. And like you said, it's not that I know anything about, the situation as far as who it is but I have to get through it, because it's like, if we let this, like, that's all we really have. And if AI incoming and stuff, if we lose that, it's going to be, and it might already be, just a total mess.
Are celebrities, are they empowered a little bit too much now? Twitter, look, An0maly, it's very simple. If you have 5 million, 10 million, 15, 75 million followers, you now have the ability to change minds in nanoseconds. Not a week, not a day, not a weekday, right? In seconds. So J-Lo or the Kardashians, anybody, Kevin Hart, who who I do actually love a lot. If they say literally, don't buy cheddar cheese, it'll kill you. Dude, the cheese market falls through the floor. And it will happen, and they are empowered now with this, with Twitter and social media, where it's almost a bit too much, and they are not responsible with this enormous power.
Yeah, it goes back to what I said earlier too, with we made these people famous and we give them this power by looking up to them in that way. I have a lot of celebrities I love, but I always say an actor and an actress, their job is to pretend to be someone else. So when you stop this actor and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I met you here. It's not, you like them for being who you thought they were in the movie. Chances are they're not a superhero, obviously. So it's like, that's their whole job, is kind of deception. And I don't mean to be mean. I know acting is a great skill and an art, but their job is deception. And a lot of these musicians, they're like, glorified puppets. They have great voices. They're great dancers, but they don't write any of their own songs. They have 20 producers and songwriters literally working hundreds of hours to come up with a hit song. They get dressed, they get told what to do. 50, 60, 70% of their check goes to the label. So we've made, thousands of powerful puppets, and it's like a groupthink ideology where if you want to stray from the norm, they'll remove you in a second. You know what I'm saying? They'll blacklist you immediately. So it's like they have way too much power, and there is no, it's all corporate owned. There's not a lot of people who are free to be themselves, and a few brave people have done it recently, and it's rewarding, and a lot of people like you, but you may never work in the industry again.
When you pointed out the kids in the orange jumpsuits, right?
Yeah.
So you pointed that out, and it's pretty shocking. It's pretty unbelievable. Do you think that people were affected by that? Do you think that you were able to reverse the tide somewhat, or are we right back to square one? What we were talking about earlier, which is that you can't undo what was originally done.
A little bit of both. I'll say that Kevin Hart deleted the picture, and a few of them did, so I think the backlash got through. And also, people are really starting to wake up, where a lot of the top comments, were even other kind of famous internet people who are like, dude, that's a fake picture. So, but someone like J-Lo, she deleted it, put up a different fake picture, I believe, and then, made it so people couldn't comment. So, it was like whoever ran her operation, it was just basically like, let's silence them, let's do it anyway. And, so some people, they push through, and there's always the next, but I think of it like planting a seed. If you can open one's mind to perceiving, the truth, or at least being open-minded to it, that has an effect. And one example where I've seen that work well was Joe Rogan had a Jack Dorsey podcast about censorship, and it was down-ratioed, downvoted. I've never seen Joe Rogan. He's so popular, and I like him a lot. He got down-ratioed because the people just weren't happy. So I feel like, they do power through, but I think media is having to lay people off. Every year, the award shows have less and less people watching. The power is definitely shifting slowly but surely, and it is nice to watch from ground up people just like me. If I lie, I should be held accountable. I'm not special, and I'm certainly not a superhero, and I don't pretend to be one on TV, but just hold everyone accountable, and that's the way the world should work.
We had the same problem here in the UFO community in 2017, where To the Stars Academy launched their company selling stock, and they did this big live presentation. And during the live internet stream on this, where they were taking money, right, selling stock in the company, they showed a picture, are you ready, of a Mylar party balloon, and they called it a UFO. Yeah. And they said, oh, this is alien technology, and we're here to investigate this, and we're going to figure out how this thing works, and we need your money, right? And so people are buying stock on this, and then later it was exposed as a Mylar party balloon, which they admitted to, and then said, it was a mistake. Sorry about that. Well, wait a minute here. Where zero responsibility. It's like, you're ignoring the big picture here. It's the UFO question. It's not that we showed a picture of a Mylar party balloon and took your money. That's not the problem. The real problem is the government knows about UFOs and secrecy, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. It is zero responsibility. Going back to exactly what we're talking about here, it's everywhere. It's not one part or one segment of our society. It's all over the place.
Absolutely. And that's our job, where it's like, if, I like people because of their authenticity and their truth. And there's people that I don't agree with that I find maybe humorous or, better than others. But, if people, like, it's your own fault if they lie to you, take your money, and then you still keep following them. Like, I can only be responsible for myself, you as well. But I'm into, deep down some rabbit holes, and there's like so many inner fightings where like people are dead set on things that they're probably not even right about. And then they're like, dude, he's an agent. Like, this is that. And I'm like, dude, you guys are muddying the water so much, where it's like, and making a profit off it in many ways. So all I could do is try to do my best. But the thing that you talked about earlier is what frightens me the most. If we can't figure it out now, what's going to happen when you can't even tell my video from a digitally manipulated lie?
And dude, it's not even An0maly. It's not in a year or two.
It's like now.
It's now. It's crazy. All right, let's take a break. And as I'm rolling, what's up with the Lakers, man? Are they going to make the playoffs?
I don't know. They're about to get Anthony Davis, though, I think.
I know, cool. Right. We'll see. Our guest tonight, An0maly. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. Stay with us.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas.
Poor water quality is a major health issue, and it's only getting worse. Municipalities can't keep up, standards have dropped, and pollutants are increasing. Where does it all end? It ends by keeping the pollutants outside of your home with HydroCare's advanced systems available at Wave Home Solutions. No less than the best purification materials and processes have been developed by HydroCare to provide you with healthy, clean water for drinking, cooking, and showering. HydroCare far surpasses the competition in removing chlorine, odors, iron, lead, chemicals, limescale, and much more. Don't settle for less when it comes to your water. We'll take care of the toughest water problems for you, whether it's from a city or well source. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, call 888-997-WAVE. That's 888-997-WAVE. Or go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRARadio.com.
Does your basement or crawl space have a damp, musty smell? Well, watch out. That's a sign of too much moisture and not enough ventilation. And that can mean increased mold growth and the buildup of harmful toxins and gases. Don't bother with a dehumidifier. It just circulates the same unhealthy air. Now there's a better way to remove these dangers and odors. It's with the computerized Wave Moisture Control Unit that reduces moisture and expels pollutants.
We replaced our old dehumidifier with the Wave unit, and in only 3 weeks, our basement is dry and the musty smell is gone.
Wave units require no maintenance, no buckets of water or filters, and costs only pennies a day to run. Breathe better, live healthier with an affordable, no-maintenance Wave unit. Call 888-717-WAVE, 888-717-WAVE, or visit dryhealthyhome.com. Dryhealthyhome.com.
Ride the Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I only drink Fade to Black blend coffee from Rivermoon. Just click on the Rivermoon Coffee banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Promo code F2B Blend.
So are you tired of being tired? Well, then it's time to get the tea. Hey, it's Lisa here to tell you about this all-natural, all-organic tea I've been drinking that has had great results for over 20 years. It's called Life Change Tea, and it's specially formulated to help detoxify and cleanse your kidneys, liver, colon, and blood all at once. The colon is one of the most ignored organs in the human body. The faster that waste is eliminated from the body, the less time that waste sits in our intestines, spreading toxins to our bloodstream. This tea helps cleanse chemicals caused by outside intruders from our entire digestive system. And get this, weight loss can be a side effect. And with continued use of the tea, you can experience clearer, healthier, younger looking skin, increased energy, and a happier outlook on life. So if you're tired of being tired, get the Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. And like me, you'll be glad you did.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, An0maly. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox. I haven't seen it this on fire in a while. An0maly, I'm going to give you credit for that. It's a pretty cool discussion going on Twitter. You can follow An0maly at Legendary Energy right there at An0maly with a 0, though. That's not with an O. That's a 0. An0maly. Okay. I don't keeping
it hot on Twitter.
I don't do politics on this show. I do the conspiracy of politics, and there is a difference. Now, I'm going to throw this out there at you. We're going to talk some UFOs here.
Okay.
But here we've got President Trump in the White House, and it's a case of be careful what you wish for, because us here in the conspiracy community wanted a president that was a conspiracy guy. He's Alex Jones's fan. You know, we had it, right? Well, now he's sitting in the Oval Office. If Trump gets the UFO file in front of him and he gets read in, does he tweet it?
I do know he was very bullish on the JFK files. I love that. Do you remember he was tweeting about them?
Yes.
Like, we got the JFK files. They're trying to stop me from releasing them. I was like, yo, this guy's classic. Like, I think it was the intelligence communities were like, no, don't release those. And Trump was like, no, I'm going to release them for sure. I'm going to send them to Alex.
Yeah. Totally. I'm going to email Alex first, and then we'll release it on the FBI.gov.
Yeah, he got them out. They were heavily redacted, but there were some gems in there.
But what about the UFO stuff? Is Trump our guy?
I think so, but I always think of things as like progress, and sometimes progress doesn't go the way people want it to do, because even in the Trump supporter zone, there's a lot of people frustrated with him not doing what they want him to do. But I was like, he's changing the game. I do think he's truly an outsider, albeit I'm sure he has some connections, but I think he's like the stepping stone to it. So I wouldn't be surprised if he did something like that, But if he doesn't, he's opening the door for like someone else. So I think, I don't know. It's like,
well, this is my take, is that they haven't shown him the files because of what I just said.
yeah, no, the intelligence.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
They don't like him, which makes me like him more. Where I was like, wait, why don't they like him? And they didn't want him to release the JFK files. I definitely think they don't want him there. They want him out as soon as possible because he's a loose cannon and he's not controllable, and he's certainly not who they wanted there. I don't think so. I'm sure if there's a way for them not to tell him, they probably won't tell him. And if they do tell him, he might run right to Twitter.
I expect it. I really do. I really do.
Oh my God. OMG. OMG. UFO. That's all we need. OMG. UFO. And the whole game would be changed forever.
They won't let me talk about UFOs. Sad. Right?
I would love it. I'm thinking, because people are like, why haven't they done so? I'm like, I think he has possibly some stuff where he's like, hey, if you guys want to do something to me, I'll tell the whole world about UFOs now. Don't make me go there.
I know. I'm okay with that. I'm serious. I wouldn't doubt that conversation went down in the White House. And now the number one question in Twitter, I know you're watching. Have you seen a UFO?
I've definitely seen what seemed like an unearthly shooting star that was purple, and it looked like it was so big it was going to hit the ground, and it stopped. I mean, some people would say it's a shooting star. I thought it was way too big and way too close to be one. But one thing, I don't know if this is in the same realm. I've had a sleep paralysis experience, which I consider paranormal experience, where I woke up in my room, but I was paralyzed, and it was like a witch choking me out. And since then, I do believe in some sort of like demonic, spiritual underworld of sorts, because I seen it. I done seen it.
Did we talk about this before?
I don't know if we did.
I'm having a deja vu.
We might have.
Okay, what happened?
So I think I was too weak mentally and physically at the time, so I got taken advantage of. But I had a dream, and I thought there was like a beautiful woman behind me, and it was just like a dream. And I was like, oh, and I go to turn around, and it's this like wretched witch, and then like she's choking me. But then I wake up, and I'm in my room, and I'm looking at my wall, but I can't move and I can't breathe. It was so realistic. I thought somebody was in my room choking me. I thought I was going to die. And I caught my breath at the last second, and then I went right to Google, as a good boy does. Right, and I was researching it, and I was just blown away by how the fact that millions of people suffer from this, and they see almost like an alien or a witch, and scientists are trying to say that, oh, it's just the brain having a malfunction. But if that was true, why would it always be the same one or two things? And I saw it so vividly, and I watched a documentary on it, and I've just come to the conclusion that it's something's real. And the UFO sort of thing I saw, well, actually, I was in the mountains, the Santa Monica Mountains. The first time it was like, they said it was some SpaceX thing, but it was this huge light that was so bright, and it's on YouTube now, and it just like dissolved into like green matter. But it was they said it was a rocket tested, like a missile testing, I think one time, and another time it happened, they said it was like SpaceX testing. I don't know. I saw it the first time. I don't know if it was that, but.
Do you want to take some phone calls?
Yeah, whatever.
All right,
I'm down.
I'm going to open up the phone lines right now, and I want to do this. I want everybody to take advantage of our opportunity with An0maly. 747-228-2051, and the phone lines are open now. I've got some calls already on hold, but it's fully wide open. 747-228-2051. I want to go back to this sighting, though. You said that it was a shooting star, but it got too close to the ground. It didn't explode. It didn't hit the ground, right?
It was so vivid. Like my heart jumped. It was on a rooftop when I first got to California. It was so vivid. Like I thought it was like a bomb or something that was about to hit the ground. And it just was like getting brighter. Like it looked like a shooting star, but like way closer, way brighter, way bigger, and closer to the ground. And then it just like disappeared. And then I like got my friend, and they're like, what? And I was like, all right, now I'm going to sound crazy.
Let's grab some phone calls. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? Say hi to An0maly. You're live.
Hi,
yes.
Oh, hey. I'm going to stop driving. I just started driving. I figured it'd be a while. Hey, this is Clementine, and hey, Jimmy, and hey, An0maly.
Hey, Clementine, what do you have for An0maly?
Hey.
And then we'll let you drive down the road.
Well, I want to say I'm a big fan, and I'm grateful he got me back into the conspiracy of politics, I will say. And I had a sleep paralysis experience, too. And it was also a woman, and it was like I couldn't pull myself away from her. She was like sucking me into her energy, and I had to force myself awake. And then even when I woke up, I was still like stuck with this kind of halfway in and halfway out of the experience, but just unable to move and feeling kind of like I was suffocating until finally I breathed again. That only happened once, and it was a scary experience. And when I finally looked into it, it wasn't until about 2 years later. And so many people said the same thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, that makes me think that it's because they say it's just a brain malfunction, but if everyone sees the same exact thing, it doesn't make sense to me. I think it's a real paranormal thing.
Clementine, thank you for the phone call. Now you can go drive.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Be safe. And that's one of the cool things about the show. So many people listen when they're on the road. And I always give them the same advice, okay? Either have a Bluetooth in or pull over. But, yeah, there you go. Clementine, thank you for the phone call. Who's calling? You're up next on Fade to Black. Say hi to An0maly.
Hi, An0maly.
Hi,
Hi, Jimmy.
Hi, who's this?
Hi, this is Sandy. I'm calling from Dallas.
Hi, Sandy from Dallas. What do you have for An0maly tonight?
What don't I have? I'm on board with what you guys are talking about. And Jimmy, I'm a first-time caller.
Yes, I see that. Welcome.
And first time kind of accepting all this, if you want to say.
What part?
Kind of,
what
loved
part?
The UFO stuff. Loved the time travel stuff. Loved the supernatural stuff. My husband and I have always been drawn to it via the shows, the stuff we like, the bands, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, listening to you guys, I've never had an experience, but I've had other experiences as far as ghostly stuff, not UFO stuff. But like he's talking about the witch, I've heard that story too.
Well, see, and Sandy, this is what's great about this show is we can have An0maly on where we can talk music, sports, food, conspiracy, fake news, UFOs, and the audience, like yourself, you guys get it. This is a community that we all, we're all interested in the same things.
Yeah, and I have kind of reached a crossroads in my life where I've had to kind of say goodbye to some people, like, in my life. Like, they're not on board. And, like, I'm watching the Jonathan with the guy.
Well, actually, you bring up a good point. I want to throw this over.
I've been diving into his stuff. Oh, my gosh.
Well, I want to throw this over to An0maly. An0maly, what's your advice to people out there that listen to you or listen to this show, but they can't go and talk to their friends and family?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a tough climate. I mean, I've lost some friends, and I feel like it's an era of like the world's been shaken and people are really starting to like go certain ways where I always just say enjoy life, and I see it as a blessing. Certain friends we became even closer, and others, I mean, definitely think I'm crazy. So at least you're not alone.
That's right, Sandy.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you.
I got confirmation. Thank you.
Thank you for the phone call. Be safe out there.
All right, you guys take care. Appreciate it. All right, bye-bye.
Take care.
That's what do you do? Okay. I'm going to have you give some dating advice out there.
Oh
right?
gosh.
What do you do? You've met somebody. You go out to dinner for the first time. Are you talking conspiracy? Are you talking J-Lo? Are you do you go politics? Do you talk UFOs? What how do you know what I mean?
It depends on the situation, because sometimes I'm so in it, I enjoy just relaxing. And it's funny because a lot of people will recognize me out and immediately jump into it. And I'm like, man, I'm at the bar now. Let's relax. Let's have a drink. Let's talk about sports. But I don't go full into it, but I'll drop some gems here or there. But I'm I'm not very forceful, and also if it comes up, it comes up. Like as far as what I do, but I just say I do news and talk about social issues, and hip hop, and if they care to go deeper, I'll go a little deeper. But I like to keep it open, and I think that's the best way to like get someone on your side, or at least find common ground. Is I'm like, the moon landing was fake, or something. They're like, oh my goodness, I'm like, sorry, no, I'm just kidding.
Well, oh man, I want to go right there. That's a what do we do with something like that, where you've got a pile of evidence that says clearly we went to the moon, and you've got a pile of evidence that says clearly we did not, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what do we do with that? And it's like it's not even open for a discussion. You're either on one side or the other.
So what I say is, because I don't know for sure, but I have a video. It's got like 8 million views on Facebook, and I just got all the evidence of what they said. I got the NASA person saying that we used to have the technology, but we destroyed it, and it's a painful process to build back again. I have Reuters saying that they destroyed or lost the footage or taped over it. They don't have the original footage. I have, they gave Holland a moon rock, and it turned out to be fake. And then there's also a documentary calling it Did We Go? And I took clips of them saying that they don't have the telemetry data. So then what I did is I stood back and I said, I don't know if we went to the moon. I don't know if we didn't. But here's NASA in their own words saying they don't have the technology anymore, and they used to. It's very fishy. It's kind of like the situation in Chicago. Like, I'm not saying it's true or false, but like something's not adding up. And this is even way crazier than that. So even saying that, though, I've had NASA people and Department of Defense kind of like reach out to me and get mad. And I'm like, get mad at NASA or Reuters. I didn't say, like, they act like I made this stuff up. And it's like they almost want me to go that distance to call me a conspiracy theorist. But I'm like, this is mainstream news that I'm just reporting. And they were not happy.
And then YouTube last week does their big announcement that they're going to throttle back on conspiracy videos.
And what's are you a conspiracy video? Am I a conspiracy video? Because I think this conversation was more logical and rational than every single news on television. So it's like, what do they consider conspiracy? How many times has the news got caught this year lying and making up these I mean, there's been a 2-year conspiracy on both sides of saying the president's colluding with foreign nations, and then you have his side saying that they are going to prison. Like, these are two major conspiracy theories that are unproven and probably never will be. So it's like, who are they targeting? I know they're going to use it to target people they don't agree with, and non-corporations. Everything is geared towards them. They've already rigged the algorithm. So yeah, I was not happy about that. I like the recommended video thing.
Yeah, when they said they pointed out it was kind of strange to me. They said, okay, you know what? Like 9/11 conspiracy videos. And flat Earth conspiracy videos, right?
Yeah.
In the press release.
And even 9/11, like, I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole, but what is mainstream knowledge is they told us it was Iraq. They went and fought a war, and it ended up being people from Saudi Arabia, like 13 of 19 or whatever of the hijackers were from Saudi Arabia. And we didn't find out about that for 6 years later. So, like, that's not a conspiracy. So am I allowed to say that? Because that's in CNN and Washington Post and stuff too. So it's like, do they think we're dumb? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the flat Earth part, I totally get. Right.
But even that, it's like, a lot of people want to see it because they don't trust people. So even if you want to debunk that, they can't, the more they try to close it out, the more popular it's going to get. They're going to be like, we're right on target, so it's a bad strategy. And it's led to bigger conspiracies because they never tell the truth. They silence people out of the way, and there's never going to be a flat earther that's like, oh, they rigged the recommended video search algorithm. Now I'm not a believer. Like, that's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. And there's another part to this where I'm going to be straight and honest right now. I get a certain amount of comedic enjoyment from a bad conspiracy video, like a flat earther video. It's entertainment for me. I want to see how far somebody can push a conspiracy theory, especially on something like flat Earth, and see where they go. I laugh at it, and I find that's entertaining. That's as entertaining as anything else that's on YouTube. Don't take that away from me.
I watched a 2-hour debate because I'm intrigued. So I watched a back and forth debate, and I'm not gonna lie, they had some interesting points. It's just like I'm watching from afar. It's not my debate, but I want to hear why they think that.
Right.
You know, it's like, and if there's certain things that they say, it doesn't necessarily prove that the Earth is a dome, but it is something that, like, you know, say like Antarctica, they talk about that a lot, where it's like clearly they don't let people there that often, and there's there's something going on. It's like the moon. I don't know what's going on, but something's going on, and I do want to hear about it. You know, I'd be lying if I like, even, you know, Alex and stuff. I get, but man, I just don't like when they deplatform or take stuff away from people.
No, you need to have all sides presented. Just as long as it doesn't cross the lines of violence or graphic stuff. Kids watch YouTube as well. You know, don't cross those lines. But if somebody's got an idea, if somebody's got something that they want to present, then that's fine. You don't go and tell somebody that they are wrong, because nobody has the answers. That's it. We're not talking about does 2 + 2 = 4. As a matter of fact, it doesn't equal 4. So we need to be very clear here. Plus, I get entertainment out of it. You know, I watch everybody's ideas. And even if I glean one little piece of information out of it where I learn something, well, that's important to me. You know, and you cannot turn around and censor, because that's exactly what this country fought for, was to prevent this kind of stuff.
And they're all panicking because they're not honest. They're not like good content creators. They're not good journalists. They're not like, people don't trust politicians. Like, love or hate Trump. That's why he won. Like, people just don't trust anything anymore. They're like, all right, well, I'm going to roll the dice. And we have to acknowledge that. And I've said that since Inauguration Day, where it's like, either you correct the mistakes that led to this, or it just continues to happen. And with the conspiracy things, like, they've done nothing to make mainstream media more believable. Like, you know, when I turn on the television, I'd rather listen to a podcast like this 10 days out of 10 days. Even if they hid this in the darkest corners of the web, I'd still probably try to go there. So they need to build trust and authenticity, and they just don't want to do it. And I'm like, I'm not even trying to be mean. I'm like, you can have all the money. You can have the $1 billion business. Just stop lying. Like, just, you know, it's not working. No one's going to believe you. And it's making fringe conspiracy theories way more popular, which is not what they want.
Okay. I want to ask you a couple of questions for myself as we wind this down.
Sure.
Last week, 2 weeks ago, we started talking hip hop on this show, and I was going, you know, down my favorite artists live, you know, off of the top of my head. And when I go off of the top of my head, usually that's the truth, right? And so it just came out. Ice Cube was my favorite hip hop artist, rap artist of all time, and it's just what came out. Death Certificate, to me, and it's certainly the old NWA stuff. It doesn't get any better. When I ask you that question, who's at the top of hip hop for you?
It always changes, but I'll say Outkast, since that's what rolled off the tip of my tongue. I really like, well, Big Boy was at the Super Bowl yesterday, but that's not even, I don't think, his best song. But it's Big Boy and Andre 3000 from Atlanta, and they just have a lot of very wise and soulful stuff. AT-Aliens, and it's called Aquemini. 2 albums that are just filled with wisdom and knowledge and really good mentality. Like we're talking about, they're talking about pills and killing people. They were in the 90s talking about self-empowerment and talking against that stuff. Like, you know, kind of explaining how the thug culture was a downward spiral. So I really like them. And people probably know Hey Ya and their newer stuff. Like, they're very creative, and I appreciate what they brought to the world and the culture.
Have you ever met Andre?
He's like a UFO, man. I don't even know where he's at. He's on an island with Tupac or something.
I met him.
Oh, wow.
No, hold on. It's not that big of a deal, but the story itself is pretty unique.
No, he's rare, man.
Okay, I'm working at a music store in West LA, right? And he comes rolling in. And I believe he was either by himself or had no entourage, right? He might have had one person with him. But he comes straight up to me, And this is a professional music store. I'm talking about Pro Tools microphones, right? No band instruments or anything like that. Orchestral. But anyway, he comes out. You know what he wanted to buy?
What?
A cello.
Nice. That's
right.
rare.
A cello. I'm like, dude, I got samples.
That's
samples
amazing.
He goes, no, man, I'm looking for a cello. And it was just too funny, man. A really cool guy, and I got a chance to hang out with him for a couple of hours and just pick his brain a little bit. But very, very cool. Well, what about? Okay, let's go before Andre. Were you listening to any of the old school stuff from the late '80s, early '90s?
I grew when I was in the 2000s when I was in my teens, so I listened to a lot newer stuff. I didn't get into older stuff until I was in college. So I would say Jedi Mind Tricks is who I listened to in high school, and people like Atmosphere and Eminem.
Yeah, Eminem. Yeah.
Yeah, the late 80s. I had some OG people from New York that were like, "Yo, you got to listen to Rakim and all these people," and I did a little bit, but they'd be mad at me because they told me, they're like, "Dude, you got to listen to this stuff," and I never fully did.
Well, you go listen to Eric B. Go listen to that. B, exactly. Oh, foo-fa, man! Some of the best of the best of the best. There's no question about that. But when Eminem came along, the first time that I heard him, I truly felt like I was hearing the future. Like that dude was a time traveler.
Yeah, his flow and cadence is just amazing. But looking back on some of the stuff now, I'm like, his content, like the stuff he's talking about, is pretty dark.
It's dark. It's way dark. And you missed it too, because you're listening to it and you're listening to how he's putting these words together and making this impossible stuff rhyme and make sense. You're trying to digest it. Then you got to go back after listening to it 20 or 30 times and you read the words. You're like, oh man, this guy is coming from another place altogether.
Yeah, but yeah, his talent is crazy.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Okay, so what's up? Where can everybody go and check you out?
Yeah, so I guess on Twitter, if you guys haven't seen, Legendary Energy. The best way is my name, An0maly. If you search it anywhere, it's tough to spell though. It's like the word anomaly, and the O is a 0, so it's AN0MALY. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram at DreamRare. But An0maly is best. AN0MALY. The O is a 0. If you forget that, you done played yourself.
Yeah, no doubt. Same thing for Instagram.
Yeah, An0maly or DreamRare is easier to spell on Instagram. But if you got An0maly, it should come up every time.
And website.
Legendary.vision. So just spelled like that, legendary.vision. And I have a podcast too called Make America Debate Again. And I got to have you on there. We'll pick a topic and just have fun. But anybody at any time, if you disagree with me, I'm trying to have I'm trying to have a climate change conversation and politics. So I made it for that reason. And I've been very busy, but I'm trying to get on it where it's like, if someone doesn't agree with me, I'm not trying to close you out. I want to have a discussion and a debate. I think that's what the country needs.
Yeah, we don't have time to do this right now, but I listened to some of your statements on climate change. I'm not going to tell anybody what they were. You're not going to do that right now.
Yeah.
But I just thought, man, he is opening the door here.
Uh-oh.
Well, you know what I'm talking about. It's
I've talked to people too that are in they were like, yeah, you're right. Off stage and stuff. I'm a curious, skeptical person. So I got questions. Let's just put it that way.
I can't wait. Let's debate. Okay. Let's book it. Let's book it.
I got you.
I'll talk to you. An0maly, thank you so much. Great conversation tonight.
Yeah. God bless you and God bless your audience. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, An0maly. An0maly. Now, and there's Facebook too as well. An0maly right there, and An0maly music. Everything is right there. We've got all the links at jimmychurchradio.com. An0maly, amazing conversation tonight. Thank you so much. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. I'll be right back and open up the phone lines. Stay with me.
girl Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing An0maly, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All An0maly products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the An0maly pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the An0maly banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously, go Beckley Tappy. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I take Life Change Tea supplements every single day. It's what I do. Click on their banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Tappy.
Hi, folks. CBD is the home run hitter for health right now. Why, you ask? Because of what it does for the body. Unfortunately, I can't tell you all about the benefit. You know, there's reasons. Do your due diligence and log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Ancient Life Oil uses organic ingredients and is blended in coconut oil for some of the best benefits. Legal in 50 states and non-psychoactive. Log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and my family is safe because of An0maly Emergency Food Storage. Just go to the An0maly banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Promo code Jimmy10.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
This is Kristen, Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Opening up the phone line, 747-228-2051. Great conversation with An0maly tonight. And I was just looking over here on Twitter. If you're on hold, stay right there. I'll get to you in just a second. But Mark Tarana over in Australia said something. He said, he makes a good point, An0maly. How do you define what is conspiracy? Totally true. Right, and to have a broad statement come out from YouTube, going, you know what, we're gonna throttle this back. We're not going to recommend it. It's not about An0maly was 100% correct. It's not about really what is a conspiracy and what is not. It's YouTube is leaning towards, and I'm telling you, this is what's going on. They are going full-on television network. That's where this is going. And all of that advertising that is out there, they want those advertising dollars. So, which drives the network. And they don't want to have blowback coming back from their advertisers saying, hey, we don't want to, we don't support this or we don't support that. And YouTube, by and large, is all run on automation. That's it. It's all run on automation, keywords. And they're listening. They have software that listens to the audio that's going out there and picks out certain words and certain topics. They don't understand. Luckily, An0maly brought up a great question. Is this show conspiracy? Well, we discuss conspiracies, but I'm not out there talking about, and I even hate to say certain keywords because of the fear of getting flagged, right? But I don't support something that I can't prove, right? It's a zone I don't go into, and I never have on this show. But what has kept this show alive in YouTube's eyes, I have no idea. But I know that they can go back and manually listen to a program, and certainly with Fade to Black, and go, okay, all right, well, he's not crossing these lines. But yeah, it just makes you wonder, doesn't it? But for me, advertising dollars, and they're going to go to the clean side of the world, and it's their company, they can do with it what they want. What built YouTube was the craziness, was the fun. That's what built YouTube, the ability to go and just see and listen to and all of these ideas from whatever aspect of it, right? And that was the joy of it. And could they be taking that part away? That to me sucks. All right, let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy.
Hey, who's this?
Mike from, it's so funny, Mike from Point Doom. Just have a quick one, and I have to be completely honest. I just had called in and heard your last bit of a description of what the topic was, and it's exactly my question, and it's just synchronicity.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it when it happens. Now I can't wait to hear.
I swear to God. Well, the other night I called in, and with one of your guests on it was the 30th, and I said, even with Fader nuts, I wonder how many people understand and have found the documentation that Blue Beam is real. And I try to keep it very concise, which is extremely difficult for me. And the first thing that your guest said, and it was just, it put me back, and I was wondering what you were thinking, because I'm pretty sure I know what a quality human being you are, and you go on facts yourself. When he started to say, immediately, he discredited it so quickly. He said, yeah, well, I really don't support conspiracy theories. Are you freaking kidding me?
Wait, what? No, when you say, no, I think you're talking about the directed energy weapons, not Blue Beam.
Well, yeah, there's been patents for years, and they already admitted in the Santa Maria fires that they accidentally misfired the laser.
Okay, I haven't heard that. You should send that to me. You should send that to me.
Yeah, I will send it to you, but it's very obvious to me that they've even shown the plane. I've looked at the planes, I've looked at the plans, I've looked at the patents. It's pretty dang obvious when you have fire chiefs knowing they could lose their job. Say, we saw the beam come down, and then 80-mile-an-hour tornado came up. Things like this. It was a conspiracy theory is something that doesn't have facts to back it up. I mean, that's ridiculous. When you provide the facts, it's no longer a theory.
Right now, okay. I'm gonna actually keep you on for a second because I'm gonna throw two things out at you. One, blue beam is actually it's the opposite of directed energy weapons. In that blue beam is taking images and projecting them up into the sky like a hologram. A holographic image. So, for instance, there are stories about in the Iraq War that we were projecting images of Muhammad, right, up into the clouds and freaking out the Iraqi troops.
Right.
All right. Now that's
a pretty good trick.
Well, and it just makes you wonder if they would do something like that. The technology seems pretty simple. So there's that part of blue beam. Is that a conspiracy? Is that some kind of crazy thought? I would look at it this way. If our military isn't using that kind of technology, then I'm wondering what my good tax money is being spent on, because that sounds like a pretty legit technology to go and pursue. I don't want to see our government projecting pictures up in the sky of UFOs and freaking people out. But, going over and projecting pictures of Jesus on the cross up in the clouds and freaking out.
Or Virgin Mary in Africa other things of this nature.
Yes, absolutely. I'm okay with it, actually.
Right. Well, what I'm saying, though, you very good point, and let me counter the spirit.
Oh, hold on, Mike. Let me jump in. I didn't give you my second point.
Okay, sorry about that.
The directed energy weapons, the last count, this is the last count. Officially, we have 2 747s with high energy lasers in them that we are testing as weapons, right? This is not some crazy, this is fact. Now, could something like that have been misfired, right, over the country? That's a possibility, but so that is where I understand what directed energy weapons are, and I know that we've got satellites up there with lasers in them to take out Chinese and Soviet satellites if all hell breaks loose. Well,
and asteroids
or asteroids. If again, it goes back to my point that if we don't have armed satellites up there, because the Soviets do, the Chinese do. So if we don't, what are we spending our tax dollars on? Again, this isn't conspiracy stuff, but to turn around and point those weapons on the West Coast and start fires on purpose, I don't know. I need some facts to back that up before I go down that road.
Okay, well, let me give you a couple. Can I speak?
Sure.
Yeah. Things like this, when you have the pinpoint accuracy and the trees aren't burnt, but yet the cars are melted, that's kind of indicative. When you have the posts on the highway, that the aluminum stripping that provides the bumpers are melted. However, the wood posts are still intact. That's kind of sketchy. Just a few examples of that. And also, Jim, if you look at the blue beams when they are projected as a holographic type of application, you will always notice, if you look, there's also a yellow beam that is associated with it. And I could give you a very good example that, thank God for all the videos that people took and posted. I don't know how they even stay on YouTube, because we do know where YouTube is going. You can see there is a yellow beam also that is associated with it. And I believe that is more of a heat-associated energy type of color than the blue is.
Okay, now let's go down this road for a second. Let's say you are right in your suspicions. Okay? All right? My question is, why do it?
It's easy. It's really easy, because you want the land first. It's in your way. People say, all of these explosions or sounds have nothing to do with below subsurface energy. I believe that they do, and what you can look very quickly, the proposed plan from San Diego up into the Bay Area that goes through Bakersfield, they've put it out that it is a underground fast train, more than a bullet train. It's a maglev train proposal, and they've already put, if you look very hard, you can see the proposed track or
I've seen the maps. I've been sent the maps.
Yeah, they coincide with the earthquakes, just coincidentally, and the fires. Lay it over it. You can see it is almost a perfect match, Jim.
But what about from Simi Valley to Malibu? How does that fit in?
That's been there for a while, bro. When I used to live on Point Doom, I used to literally sit at the end of Selfridge and watch them come out just in front of Little Doom. We used to just sit there all night and watch it. And,
Who came out? Who came out?
Excuse me?
Who came out? You said you watched them come out.
Yeah, well, we used to see orange spears that had a yellow mass at the bottom that was kind of like transparent. And we used to watch them all night. My friend was kind of up in the air about it, but his dad, who worked at Hughes up the hill right there above Pepperdine, he used to smile, and he was up in his years and age. He said, "Jeff, you might want to listen to what Michael's saying because there's something to it."
Well, when the Pepperdine fires happened, the first they happen all the time, but around 2008, I remember going up Las Virgenes and looking at the hillside there with all those homes. It was just like endless, right? They were all torched, but they're all rebuilt now. So for me, it kind of removes the idea that it was done on purpose or for something that was underneath, because the home still got rebuilt.
That's because the people in Malibu are so freaking rich to even have those homes, and I know because my girlfriend used to live off of Harbor Vista, and her dad was the architect, and his house got torched. What was it, 79? And it's right above the sheriff's station. It sits alone on the hill.
Yeah.
He rebuilt that. But I believe the money up in the Santa Maria area is an accumulation of a lot of work, the whole life's work. People in Malibu seem to have a little bit more cash than most.
Yeah, and what I'm saying here is the idea of the land grab going from the other side of the grapevine, up, north, all the way to Sacramento, and the underground train. And I've seen the maps and I've seen it laid out, and certainly it looks like it's in a straight line, and the fires were in front of it the whole way. And it makes you raise, some obvious questions there that we need to ask. But I don't see the same thing from Simi Valley to Malibu through Hidden Hills and going across through Calabasas.
Dude, I mean, promise, Jimmy, that was there back in the late 60s.
What was there?
That they already had the underground tunnels there, and people would laugh at that. But look at BART. Look at Bay Area Rapid Transit. They literally go under the ocean.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, Mike. I'm not trying to downplay the idea or the theory.
Jimmy. That's why I love you, bro. Because you bring up points that are very strong, but you're not resistant to to weighing them and see whether it has weight or not. Let me give you something real quick. I have a wife that she's the best wife in the world, but says very, very little because her focus is on work, and that's it. She is just all about work. About 8 months ago, and now I'm in Laguna Niguel, I don't mind saying, there was a rumbling in the house about 2 o'clock in the morning. She never gives her opinion on anything. But I had heard from a couple different channels that were, they put it out there, that there was a sound that went from New York through to California going through Arizona. You know what she told me that she heard at that time?
What's that?
She heard and I said, was it going from east to west? And she said, yeah. And she heard the sound. I believe that was a test run of the completed track. And, if people think this is cuckoo stuff, look at the freaking huge caverns and tunnels that go all underneath the United States up into Maine. And those things, if you look at it, why the hell are we sending our trucks on paved roads when we could use that system? And believe me, it's pretty gnarly. It's amazing. When you look at it, you're like, are you kidding me? And you look at the way that the rock is cut, and you know that it wasn't bored. It almost looks like it was melted.
Yeah, I remember seeing, I haven't seen any new ones recently, but I remember seeing all of those images of the United States Air Force tunnel digger. Right? And you look at the size.
They called it the mole or something, Jim?
Right. And you take a look at that. Now, I believe that is real.
Yeah,
okay.
I know people. I've met people that were on vacation out here that were working on the Big Dig, I believe, in Massachusetts.
Right, in Boston.
Yeah, and I met a guy out in Playa del Rey. Just happened to get into it. He's on vacation. I'm sure they have a lot to get off their chest. And he showed me some video that he had. And I was like, what the frick is that? And that's old school. That's what the contractors get to see. Our government saves all the good stuff for them.
I was with a friend of mine. When I say a friend, this is somebody that goes back with me 35 years, an old friend of mine, a few weeks ago. I said, so, what are you up to now? He said, well, man, I'm actually, I'm on disability. I said, really? He said, yeah, man, I was one of the tunnel diggers underneath Los Angeles, and I was for the last 2 years. I was like, what? And he goes, yeah, man, underneath LAX going north, digging this underground tunnel system.
Coincidentally on the fault line.
Yeah, I was just like, really? And I said, how big? So I did. I asked him a few questions. I don't want to divulge anything or reveal who he is, but it was pretty interesting in that he, conspiracy stuff, all of that. No, he's just an old friend of mine, right? Okay. But he's definitely going to tell me the straight stuff. And he was like, yeah, man, it was a union gig. I was like, what? How big? He said, it's just massive. It's just huge. It's just this underground cavern. It's just
and it's
ginormous.
24/7, right, Jim?
What's that?
It's 24/7, right?
Well, I didn't go that far with him, and I don't want to also get too far into this because of privacy issues. But for him to, he was just letting me know that he wasn't working right now. And my question was, why? What happened? And then he revealed that part of it to me. And that's about as far as I want to go. The thing is he didn't say that this was Elon Musk tunnel, coming out of SpaceX, which we know they've dug
It's a union gig.
Yeah, he said union. I was like, wow. And he said LAX going north. So, yeah, there you go. Well, hey, Mike, thank you for the phone call. And, again, the stuff that, before I let you go, when you said up there at Point Doom, are you saying that those craft were ours or theirs?
Here, let me tell you something real quick. I'm first of all, Jim, I know how you are, and it's very difficult for me to be concise. I'm the guy that will sit down and we'll go through a case of beer, and we still will not probably be halfway through. I'm just very detailed in my information, and God knows I do the work. Here it is, brother. I was in the service, and I had no idea that these existed. I was on trip from San Diego. We're doing a South Pacific Goodwill tour. When we were sitting out on the fantail of this destroyer, and sitting out there with one of the hull technicians, good old boy from the Midwest, and we were watching the phosphorus off the screws on the way to New Zealand at that time. And I promised to Jesus Christ, whoever you believe in, Allah, whoever our supreme being is, we watched the disturbance while we were there off of the port side that turned the water all green, and it started almost bubbling. And it was a huge green circle. This thing comes out of the water about 500 to 600 feet off of the ocean surface there. It tilted as we're looking at it on the port side from 7 o'clock to 1 o'clock. Had 2 rows of windows, all kinds of colors on the bottom, counter-rotating primary colors. It was so close that I could see on the top level of these evenly spaced double row windows, three little ones and 1 big one in the middle. And I'm assuming the little ones, if they were 3 or 4 or 5 feet tall, the big one was probably 13 foot tall. Coincidentally, it sat there, and the guy that I was with, and I won't divulge his name, but I promised to God I could give it to you if you ever want to talk privately, and I'll go into detail of what happened. He said, "Are you going to report this?" And I said, "I have to. I took an oath. To protect my ship, my people of the United States, our country." And he said, "Okay, good luck with it." I reported it. The captain of the ship came up. I went up to the officer of the watch and reported it. I mean, I was going, what the frick is that? I never knew they were, I didn't even know of UFOs at the point. The captain, I could hear him stomping up the port side gangway to go to the bridge because his hat was sideways. He was in his bathrobe. He's a pretty damn big dude, probably about 250, 260, and then got transferred to the USS Long Beach, which was probably going to give away what ship I was on when this happened. And he told me, and my father was Master Chief of the command at the time in Port Hueneme.
Okay, we've got 60 seconds, Mike, and speak up into the phone.
He said, "If you wish to report this, I can't guarantee your future in the United States Navy. If you don't wish to report this, I can guarantee you will have a successful future." I didn't even know they came out of the ocean. I didn't even know what a USO was. That's what we used to see out of Point Doom, only usually they were spherical, and usually there were at least 3 to 4 grouped. And it was, I could promise you, dude, that I don't lie. It's not what I'm about. I take a lot of crap in my life, but, that's how our country, we're not speaking with British accents because of people like me.
In 30 seconds, tell me, did you report it? Did you go official?
And then they kicked me out of the Navy for being gay. I've never been with a man in my life, but that was one of the 3 ways that they could kick you out.
Well, there you go. And here you are telling the truth in your story here on Fade to Black so many years later. And I thank you for your service, and I certainly thank you for this phone call, Mike.
Yeah, no worries. And you know what, Jim? Thank you for allowing me the time, and it's a great honor just that you gave me the time, and I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, my friend. Be safe out there.
Oh, yeah. I'm almost dead. Who cares?
I'll talk to you. Thank you, Mike.
All right, see ya.
Great phone call right there. This is Fade to Black. Thank you, Mike, out there in Point Doom. This is Fade to Black. An0maly brought it strong tonight. Thank you for all the phone calls, too, as well. All the links for An0maly are over at jimmychurchradio.com. Fade to Black's executive producer is Rita Camarion. Show is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vito, and Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy. SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA, The Planet. It's broadcast owned and copyrighted 2019 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tomorrow night, right here, researcher Michael Schratt. You're not going to want to miss that show. Until then, everybody be safe. Go Beckley Tepe.